All right, well, good evening, folks, and welcome inside the Macon Centreplex as your Macon Mayhem get set to host the Knoxville Ice Bears and play against them for the third time this season. My name is Alex Von Coydel, the voice of your Macon Mayhem. So happy to have you with us tonight for some Saturday night hockey on Pack the Plex / Nickelodeon night here at the Macon Centreplex. It should be a great atmosphere that we have on hand here tonight. $6 tickets for all general admission seating, and you can see still on the camera here, people still continuing to file into the building. We're expecting our largest crowd by far of the season and perhaps one of our largest crowds of all time. You can certainly already tell we've still got 13 plus minutes until puck drop, and this place already really starting to pack up. So we hope that that bodes well for the Mayhem, who need all the help that they can get right now, and we can hope that that comes in the form of a very spirited and enthusiastic home crowd backing them up tonight. The Knoxville Ice Bears coming into this tilt in 5th place in the SBHL, a record of 19-14-3. The Mayhem right now just having seen some of their playoff hopes take another hit last night. They fell by a 4-2 final score to the Huntsville Havoc in regulation yesterday. In addition, the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs won their home game against the Pensacola Ice Flyers, which further built upon the gap separating the Mayhem from a playoff position. Not good news coming from yesterday, but today is a new day. The Mayhem did play from behind for essentially the entire game last night after Tyler Piacentini capitalized on an odd man rush for the Havoc just 20 seconds into the contest, and the Mayhem were never able to retie the score. They hung in there from start to finish. They were never out of the fight. They never allowed the Havoc to accumulate a massive lead. It was an evenly played, hard-fought affair, but that slow start really proved costly as the Mayhem could never fully erase their deficit. Home games and available points are both, becoming more scarce by the day, so the Mayhem must look at tonight's outing as a must-win against the Knoxville Ice Bears. Like we said, it's going to be a great crowd tonight. This audience will be backing the Mayhem. They will be behind them from start to finish. The Mayhem cannot take that lightly. They're not going to have a whole heck of a lot of home games left, folks. In fact, after tonight is over, 2/3 of Macon's remaining schedule will be away from the Macon Centreplex, where the team has greatly struggled this season. Feeding off of this energy in the Macon Centreplex will certainly be crucial for tonight's game. The Knoxville Ice Bears have scored more goals than any team in the SPHL this season. They have averaged over 3.5 goals per game, and they've netted 3+ in 4 consecutive games. However, Knoxville has also struggled at keeping the puck out of their net this season. They rank just 7th in goals allowed per game at 3.33, suggesting tonight could very well be an up-tempo matchup, which I doubt this crowd will complain about. Despite the high-scoring tendencies of tonight's opponents, however, the Mayhem were shut out the last time they faced Jeff Carr and company back on New Year's Eve. They fell by a 2-0 score. The Mayhem still seeking their first triumph over the Ice Bears this season, having dropped their first 2 tilts by a 4-3 and 2-0 score, respectively. One of those was at home, the other was on the road. Tonight provides the optimal opportunity for the Mayhem to reverse their fortunes and get their first win of the season against Knoxville. One player we mentioned in the pregame report who we'll mention again, David Pawlowski. He has been up and down between the Mayhem and the Federal Prospects Hockey League this season. Somebody that the Ice Bears are going to have to watch out for tonight. He's one of our 3 players to watch from the Mayhem. His first call-up from the FPHL only lasted 3 games before he was sent back down. It was more of a temporary call-up. However, since returning to the Mayhem for the second time, back in late December, Pawlowski has established himself as a mainstay on this roster. In fact, he's served as a crucial, hard-working third-line center, and he's delivered in very clutch scoring situations in critical moments of big games. He scored a goal that gave the Mayhem their first road point of the season against Pensacola not long ago, and last night he scored the goal that sort of prefaced a very spirited comeback effort by the Mayhem to try to erase their deficit against the Huntsville Havoc. And even though they were never able to do that, Pawlowski still, with a howitzer of a shot from the mid to high slot, electrified the building and really instilled some hope into this audience. So the Rochester, New York native right now is only 2 games away from playing as many games with the Mayhem as he has in the Federal Prospects League this season. So in a campaign in which the Mayhem have experienced a great deal of turnover on the roster, number 17 has made the most of his opportunity. All general admission seats for tonight are just $6. They can still be purchased if you're tuned in and are thinking about coming out to the game tonight. By all means, do so. We'd love to have you, but don't wait too long. The box office will close after the first period. So if you want to get here now. This will be a fun one on hand at the Macon Centreplex tonight, folks. The Mayhem will be wearing specialty Nickelodeon jerseys with a Double Dare theme. The jerseys that the players wear on the ice tonight will be sold at a live auction in the Centreplex lobby following tonight's game. Taking a look at the three keys of the game for the Mayhem. Number one, controlling the start. The Mayhem did not do that yesterday. They allowed a goal to Tyler Piacentini just 20 seconds into the game and quickly found themselves down by a pair. And that was courtesy of multiple Huntsville odd man rushes. So that's got to change tonight for the better. The Mayhem have really got to come out of the gates with a strong start to tonight's game and set the tempo early. Secondly, feeding off the crowd energy. We hinted at that earlier. This will be, in all likelihood, the best. I think it already has reached that point as the largest crowd the Mayhem have had all season. Do not let that go to waste. Feed off the energy that the crowd is instilling into this building, and the Mayhem will be able to use that to their advantage and find some success. And finally, mind Huntsville's speed. This is a very fast team, folks, a very good team that, much like Huntsville, loves to play a north-south style of hockey. They know how to take advantage of 2-on-1 rushes and odd-man rushes. They can make you pay if you get caught pinching too far down the boards and are a little bit irresponsible defensively and you cheat too much. They know how to make you pay. So the Mayhem have got to be alert to that speed of the of the Knoxville Ice Bears, especially the defensemen. If they're on the blue lines in the offensive zone trying to help generate offense, that's fine, but they've got to be maybe a little bit more wary than they would against an average team as far as players who might be starting to lurk behind them and try to gain some speed through the neutral zone and get a quick odd man rush, because that is how Knoxville likes to play. So the Mayhem have got to be mindful of that tonight. So just to reiterate, controlling the start of the game, feeding off the energy in the crowd, and minding Knoxville's speed. Those are your three keys of tonight's game for the Mayhem. Taking a look at a few players who have been hot for Macon of late. Number one, Stepan Timofeyev. He had an excellent game yesterday. Very creative in the offensive zone. He was setting up players left and right. It's a shame he didn't get more than one assist. He probably deserved more than one. In fact, he didn't even get credited for the one he did. We'll get that fixed, obviously. By the way, folks, the commissioner of the SPHL, Doug Brice, in the building tonight, just adding to the just how the enormity of this game. Anyways, Stepan Timofeyev, he had an assist last night that didn't get credited. He scored 2 goals against Knoxville this season. And back on the whitey-tighty toss night, the last time the Ice Bears were in this building. So Timofeyev, somebody to watch if you're an Ice Bears player, coach, or fan. David Pawlowski, we mentioned him earlier. He's been on a nice little roll here. He's got a goal and an assist in his last 3 games played. Josh Cousineau, a pair of assists in his last 3 games played as well. A former Knoxville Ice Bear, won a President's Cup championship there. At the time, he was actually teammates with Jason Price, who's a 12-year SPHL veteran, 34 years of age, renowned for his leadership qualities, and won a cup in Knoxville back in 2015 with Josh Cousineau. So, Timofeyev, Pawlowski, Cousineau, a few players to watch tonight if you're an Ice Bears fan tuned into this broadcast tonight, which, by the way, if you are, welcome. We're so glad to have you with us, and I'll do my best to call a fairly objective game tonight. If you're a Mayhem fan watching, here's a few players to watch. Brice Nielson, he's second in the entire league in scoring. He's got 39 points this season, a nearly even goal-to-assist ratio. He can do it all. 19 goals, 20 assists. He's only had 1 penalty all year, and it was a minor. Fewest penalty minutes on the team, and he's just seems to be just a purely skill guy who makes the most of it. He's played in every game this season for Jeff Carr and the Ice Bears as well. He'll be in the lineup tonight. Number 19 in the dark sweaters will be worth keeping a very close eye on if you're Ryan Michael and the Macon Mayhem. Secondly, Ricky Kramer. He is tied for the SPHL lead among defensemen with 22 assists this season. He's got 25 points, 22 of which are assists. He's a very good playmaker. He's also played in every game this season, and he's been virtually all season at the top of the SPHL leaderboards in defensemen for points. So he's very dangerous. Number 91, an excellent puck distributor back there at the blue line. And finally, Stefan Bricado, who seems to have Macon's number. He's been a point-per-game player this season, an alternate captain. He's on an 8-game point-scoring streak. He's got 10 points in his last 8 games, 5 goals, 5 assists. Very dangerous against the Mayhem, and he will also be worth keeping a vigilant watch on tonight, number 11 in black. Like we said, folks, Knoxville, a very high-scoring adversary. They put up goals with aplomb. They've scored 3+ in 4 consecutive games, even though they've dropped their last 3 straight. They have not done it they've not lost for lack of scoring, that's for sure. So expect tonight to be an up-tempo game, not just because of the high-scoring nature of this opponent, but because of the audience in attendance tonight. I imagine everyone's really just going to have the wheels turning this evening, particularly at the start of this game. You can already just feel the energy in this building at the onset of puck drop here at the Macon Centreplex. Currently Knoxville third best in the SPHL in goals for per game. They average 3.6. Shots for per game, they're 4th in the league, 31.9. The Mayhem just faced the league leader in shots per game with the Huntsville Havoc coming to town yesterday. Rob Durar, who leads the entire league in shots, ended up with the game-winning goal. That was scored in the second period. Really unfortunate bounce off the blocker of Hayden Stewart that led to Durar tapping it into the gaping 4x6. But Stewart, regardless of that, played a very strong night in net yesterday. He stopped 23 of the 24 shots that he faced. He will be getting the nod again to start tonight's game for the Mayhem. As for Knoxville, they're going with Joseph Murdaka. So I don't want to say I'm disappointed, but it would have been neat to see Hayden Stewart against Cody Porter, both of whom have been on both teams. Porter didn't start. He was with the Mayhem this season for a brief time. And Hayden Stewart was with the Ice Bears this season for a brief time. So they kind of did a switcheroo just probably 2 or 3 weeks later. Stewart came to Macon first, and then Porter went to Knoxville shortly thereafter. But Cody Porter is not starting tonight. It will be Joseph Murdaka. The change of scenery has seemed to have served Porter well. He has pitched far better numbers since joining the Ice Bears than he did with the Mayhem earlier this season. Murdaka, on the other hand, he started the campaign in the Federal Prospects League, played 4 games for the Elmira Enforcers, just 21 years of age in his first year pro. Came straight out of the Ontario Junior Hockey League to this level, which you don't see very often. This season for Knoxville has boasted a record of 11-5-1, a 2.39 goals against average, and a .925 save percentage. Near the top of the SPHL in several categories there. Joseph Murdaka ranking 3rd among qualified goaltenders, tied for 2nd with Eric Levine with a .929 save percentage. Goals against, he's 4th behind Eric Levine with a 2.29, and 3rd in wins, tied with Blake Woitala of Fayetteville with 11. Trailing only Max Millisek and Eric Levine in the wins department. The rest of Knoxville's starting lineup is as follows. David Branchik, the Czech-born defenseman, is on the blue line with Jason Price on his right. Anthony McVeigh, Stefan Bricado, Lucas Bombardier starting at forward. So Jeff Carr really loading up all of his leaders on the ice to start tonight's game. His captain and his 2 alternates, Bombardier, Bricado, and Price, respectively. Charles Olson, our public address announcer, announcing to the 4,000 plus in attendance here tonight at the Macon Centreplex, who give a raucous round of applause at the onset of the announcement of Macon's starting lineup this evening. But first, Mac the mascot will make his way onto the Coliseum ice for the first time, wearing these specialty Nickelodeon-themed jerseys as you see him come out of the tunnel. To get the folks here at the Centreplex riled up for some Saturday night hockey here on Pack the Plex night. What an outstanding crowd on hand that we have for game number 35 of the 2019-20 season for the Mayhem. For Knoxville, this is game number 37. They're the only team in the league who have played more games than the Mayhem this season. Zach Urban for the second straight night, starting on defense. He'll be manning the right point position, the team's leader in penalty minutes, 9 of which came yesterday, all of which came because of his scrap with Baxter Cantor of Huntsville. Wojtek Zemlicka will be his defensive partner, sporting the number 27 for the Mayhem on Urban's left side. Caleb Cameron, who is given an alias by Charles Olson, our public address announcer, calling him Caleb Board Breaker Cameron. He's already had a few nicknames accumulate since that incident on Thursday night. Stepan Timofeyev, who had a primary assist on David Pawlowski's goal last night, will be on Cameron's left, or on his right rather, to start this game. And Pawlowski, the man who scored the goal, will be centering this unit with Cameron on the left side and Timofeyev on the right. The starting goaltender for the Mayhem tonight, as we said, will be Hayden Stewart, a graduate of Cornell University, backed up the Ice Bears during the playoffs, ended up being the goaltender who eliminated the Mayhem. He had a 10-game timeshare in the ECHL last season between Cincinnati, Orlando, and Fort Wayne, and has found a home here with the Macon Mayhem. He played very well in the postseason last year. Back in April of 2019, it was a big part of the reason the Ice Bears were able to sweep the Mayhem to eliminate them during last year's playoffs. The singing of our country's national anthem will be next, folks. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. We'll be back in just a moment to bring you the opening face-off here on Pack the Plex night. We'll be right back, folks. Keep it right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as Rachel Cox Howell performs the national anthem of the United States of America.
Beautiful rendition of our country's national anthem here at the onset of Pack the Plex night / Nickelodeon night. The Mayhem, as you can see in those very bright colored Nickelodeon jerseys with a Double Dare theme, those of course will be auctioned off at the end of tonight's contest in the Centreplex lobby. Tons of people in the arena tonight who are potential bidders on those jerseys. We're excited for that auction and hope that it is as successful, if not more so, than the other auctions that the other jersey auctions we've had this season, all of which have done pretty darn well. In case you missed them, the starting lineups for Knoxville are as follows. They're going with all of their captains to start tonight's game, with Stefan Bricado, Anthony McVeigh, and Lucas Bombardier. Stefan Bracano, Jason Price, and Lucas Bombardier. McVeigh will be the other forward, and David Branchick on defense. In net will be Joseph Murdaka, who's played in 17 games for the Ice Bears this season. He's won 11 of them with an impressive 2.39 goals against and a .925 save percentage. Macon countering with Zach Urban at the blue line, paired with Wojtek Zemlitska, Caleb Cameron, Stepan Timofeyev, David Pawlowski up front as the forwards, and Hayden Stewart, the former Ice Bears goaltender who eliminated the Mayhem from the postseason last year, tending the net for the Mayhem. This is game number 35 of the 2019-20 regular season. Whether you're a fan of the Ice Bears or the Mayhem, we're so glad to have you on hand tonight for Pack the Plex night at the Macon Centreplex. You can feel the excitement and the electricity in the air here as we're just moments away from being underway here in Middle Georgia. The referee for tonight's game is Zane Stout. The linesmen are William Bray and Venance Lorenz. Macon continuing to battle away for a playoff position. Knoxville with a 19-14-3 record, currently sitting mid-table in the SPHL leaderboards. They are 5th in the standings. Coming into this tilt, Knoxville with 41 points on the campaign. After losing last night, they fell behind the Huntsville Havoc, who defeated the Mayhem in regulation by a 4-2 final with an empty netter tacked on at the end. Knoxville, on the other hand, losing on home ice to the Fayetteville Marksmen, who now have Stathis Humilides and Jarrett Cup, former Mayhem players, both of whom got onto the score sheet last night, which is good to see. This game is underway. The Ice Bears have won the opening face-off, and Pack the Plex night has begun. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, folks, on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. We're thrilled to have you with us here for some Saturday night hockey. Alex Von Coda, the voice of your Mayhem. So glad you decided to join us. As Knoxville will quickly send it to Lucas Bombardier in the Knoxville zone. He will get it out to center. Stefan Bracano sends it across the ice onto the left side. Entering the attacking zone will be David Branchick, who will put it into the far corner, and now Zach Urban's got it. He makes the break out pass to Stepan Timofeyev up the right wall, who's joined by Pawlowski. Timofeyev sends it into the adjacent corner. Pawlowski pursues it. Timofeyev puts it off the side of the goal, and Knoxville comes away with it. Lucas Bombardier down the right side. He is met by Cousineau. Excellent back check by the SPHL veteran, who takes the puck back, and Larry Smith will send it up the ice. Pirog is onside as he enters the Knoxville zone. He puts it in front, pinballs off a leg, bounces around in front. Pirog will whack it up the slot. Now it's Campbell to the left circle. He puts it over, and it goes all the way across to the far half wall, and out with it skates Knoxville the other direction. They skated across the blue line, turning with it Garrett Sargis, who flings it across to Ricky Kramer in the near circle. Kramer puts it to Cuthrow behind the net. Scott Cuthrow whacks at it. It goes off the end wall. He's checked. Sargis comes away with it near corner. He is watched closely. It flutters on net. Stewart's got it. He will just leave it aside, and Pirog works it up the near half wall. Cousineau has cleared it out to the Macon logo at center ice. A minute and a half has expired here at the Centreplex. No score between the Mayhem and the Knoxville Ice Bears. Ricky Kramer from the red line sends it off a friendly stick. It was deflected into the offensive zone by Riley Christensen, and now the Mayhem get it out of their own end as it's raced out of there by Stepan Timofeyev, and he's caught on an offside. The whistle blows stopping play. 18-12 to go in period one. Scoreless at the Macon Centreplex here on Pack the Plex night. And boy, does this Plex look packed. The face-off will take place in the neutral zone near the Allstate Bonding penalty box. Josh Pietrantonio, who spent a little bit of time with the Mayhem this season, lines up on the right wing side opposite Sean Lynch. The Mayhem win the neutral zone face-off. It's fired on net from center ice, easily denied by Joseph Murdaka. Pietrantonio fighting for it near half wall. Lynch comes away with it from the goal line. Will put it in behind the net. It's worked up to the right point. Oscar Arfelt does a head fake. He shoots through traffic, missed the net. It bounces off the backboards, and now a puck battle ensues. It's rolled in behind the Knoxville goal. Alex Carlson can't clear. Oscar Arfelt with another good keep at the right point. He sidesteps a check, then tries to put it in behind the net. It pinballs in front off a Knoxville stick, and it's been worked up the boards by Cooper Jones and out. Alex DeOliveira's got a lot of ground to cover. He picks it up in his own zone. We'll throw it up the middle of the ice. It's ricocheted on to Pawlowski, who sends a nice pass across. Here's a chance. Moving it on in a shot. They score! It's Josh Keplinger lighting the lamp for the Mayhem, and the Centreplex goes wild. David Pawlowski, who's been red hot. He was one of our players to watch tonight. Made the pass to Josh Keplinger. He saw him, good vision, good poise, and an even better pass. He sprung him in stride, just barely able to stop himself from going offside. Got to give a lot of credit to Josh Keplinger, not just for the shot selection, but also maintaining the blue line well enough to not cross over it prematurely, which would have been an offside and would have obviously nullified the goal. 1-0 Macon. Josh Keplinger with his 5th goal of the season. Pawlowski was on the assist. If I'm not mistaken, D'Oliveira will get the secondary. And after that flying puck has gone out of play, the Mayhem will take a defensive zone face-off with 17:16 to go in period 1. Good start for Macon, just what the doctor ordered. Pawlowski winning the defensive zone draw. Cameron puts it in behind his own net. Oscar Arfelt backhands it off the wall on the near side, and it's been cleared further now in front of the Macon bench. Swiped at by Pawlowski, flutters around near the red line, and Cameron gets it to Pawlowski, who just dumps it in past the Knoxville defense and in behind Joseph Murdaka's net. Whistle blew due to an offside, so this faceoff will come back out to center ice. Cameron was actually given the secondary assist, not D'Oliveira. 2:38 into period 1. Macon takes a 1-0 lead. Neutral zone face-off in front of the Knoxville bench. People still piling in here at the Macon Centreplex. Zach Urban sends it D-to-D, and Wojtek Zemlicka will step in across the Knoxville blue line and shoots from a tough angle, and it goes off the side of the net. A lot of folks here thought that puck was in. Pirog gets into a little tussle, and Ricky Kramer is separated immediately thereafter by the officiating crew. And you could just hear the anticipation in this building. People wanted to see a little scrap take place between Kramer and Pirog. A couple of big guns for their teams, respectively. That would have been a high-profile battle, but Zane Stout had the two of them on a tight leash. Josh Cousineau will take this face-off. Another former Knoxville Ice Bear who won a President's Cup championship there in 2015. But he lost the offensive zone draw, to Scott Cuthrell, who led the Ice Bears in scoring last season. Zach Urban in across the Knoxville blue line, gives it to his right, hoping for Pirog. It was taken away by Sargis, who commences the counterattack. He's joined by Nielson, sets him up. Nielsen's bodied off the puck. It flutters wide of the far side post. And now it's Pirog in his own end. He will dish it to his left. Cousineau's got it in neutral ice. He will float one into the right corner. It careens off the boards, and it's been whacked around. Good hard hit thrown by Pirog along the end wall, but here come the Ice Bears the other way. It's Sargis cutting in from the circle. Gave it over. They score. Brice Nielson tapped it into a wide open net, and really nothing Hayden Stewart could do there, as he was furious and just whipped the puck down the ice, and that was just as easy as they come for Brice Nielson, who has now tied his assist total with goals. He's got 20 of both this season and 40 points, leading all Ice Bears, second most in the league. A tap-in goal for him. I'm not sure he's scored an easier goal all season. And we're tied up at a goal apiece. 16:06 to go here in period 1. That goal coming from Nielsen at 5:54. If I'm not mistaken, Garrett Sargis will be on the primary assist. It's been an up-tempo game, just as we had suspected at the onset of tonight's broadcast. Alex Carlson gives it back and gets the return from his D partner. Carlson's pass out to center is picked off by Lynch, who goes down. The arm of Zane Stout has stayed down for the time being. Carlson floats it down into Macon territory. Oscar Arfelt's got it. A Swedish-born defenseman will slide it up to Sean Lynch. He wheels in behind his own net. Lynch will give it back to Alex D'Oliveira, who begins the breakout for Macon. D'Oliveira goes up the ice with it, and here come the Mayhem in across the line. Quick wrist shot, punched aside by the blocker of Murdaka. Into the near corner it goes. Lynch will drop it to the point. Left side, Zemlicka down to Lynch. Left half wall. He centers it. Pirog's shot gets blocked. Rather, it was Timofeyev. And here come the Ice Bears on a counterattack. They're pretty gassed near the end of a shift. Mercado steps into the slot, gives it over into the circle. It's Dwyer Chance who puts it to Lucas Bombardier behind the Macon cage. It's taken away from him by D'Oliveira, who can't clear it. Branchik holds the line. He will slide it to his right. Stefan Mercado. His pass go into the slot. It flutters around and it's kept in the zone, whacked into a vacant corner. And it'll be Wojtek Zemlicka. He has his stick lifted by Anthony McVeigh. McVeigh going into the far corner for it. He's pushed by Zemlitska, stays on it, and it's been worked back to the line. A diving poke check fails, and Jason Price will have to hammer it into the zone from neutral territory. 14:35 to go. At our next whistle, we'll head to our first media timeout. Larry Smith has it behind his own net. He works it up to Josh Keplinger. Floated off the glove hand of Ricky Kramer in neutral territory. Dwyer Chance just floats one in behind the Macon goal line. Stewart lets it go. And now it's Zach Urban, who's well covered in behind his own net, trying to make something happen. Zane Stout had to get out of the way there as Ricky Kramer floats a shot wide of the net, goes off the X-Dasher boards in the far corner. Kramer can't hold the line. Here come the Mayhem. Could be a 2-on-1. Hustling in to join the attack is Pawlowski, and the shot is on, but stopped by Joseph Murdaka. That was Keplinger on the far wall. I believe he tried to aim low, hoping for a rebound for Pawlowski, but Murdaka did an excellent job of covering up the puck and absorbing it, preventing a second or third opportunity. No rebound off the paraphernalia of Joseph Murdaka. He's had a very solid season, has Murdaka. Near the top of all goaltenders in the SPHL this season in virtually every category. He's third in wins, he's fourth in goals against, he's third in save percentage. And he didn't even start the season here. And he has just taken over as the #1 goaltender in Knoxville this season, which is really the reason that the Mayhem have Hayden Stewart now. 14:03 to go in period one. Our first media timeout has come to an end here as both teams are sending their squads back onto the ice for what will be a Macon offensive zone face-off to the left of Joseph Murdaka. To our YouTube audience, I see that we've got some fans of the Ice Bears on hand, so for those of you listening, we're glad to have you with us. Thanks for joining us on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Hope you've enjoyed your Saturday night. Brice Nielson from the neutral zone put it to the Macon blue line. It's quickly swiped out of there by D'Oliveira, but all the way down the ice, and that'll be an icing called against Macon. That was Larry Smith, rather, the guilty party. And the Ice Bears will now go to an offensive zone face-off. So, not as scrappy as yesterday's game was to start, certainly with Huntsville. There was a fight in the first few minutes between Zach Urban and Baxter Cantor. Not only was there that, there was also a roughing between the two of them that took place before the fight, which was all instigated because of Urban coming out of the penalty box and interfering with Tyler Piacentini. The start to tonight's game has been far less rough and tumble, at least so far. But it is still very early. The puck's been redirected into the far corner of the Macon zone. Oscar Arfelt pursues it. He's surrounded on all sides by dark sweaters. This is my first time broadcasting when Knoxville's got these black jerseys, these black sweaters with the white outline as their numbers. They look pretty sleek. Not sure Nielsen got a piece of that, but the linesman believes he did, so no icing here. Oscar Arfelt in the opposite corner of the what he normally plays in the Macon zone on the left side. He will float one up the slot, too far outside of the reach of Stephen Pirog, who fights forward at center ice, but it's the Ice Bears who come away with it. Down the right side skates Bricado on his off wing. He floats it across the slot. Far corner, it's Lucas Bombardier scrapping for it. Bombardier gives it to Bricado below the goal line. It pinballs on net, and Stewart pounces on the puck in the blue paint to make the save. 12:48 to go in period one. 1-1 your score here on Pack the Plex night. Josh Keplinger opening the scoring for Macon. Just 2:38 into the contest, and he was responded quickly thereafter by Brice Nielson of Knoxville, who leads the team in scoring. It's a tap-in goal for Nielson. Ice Bears win the offensive zone draw. It's rattled in behind the Macon cage and around the boards. To the near corner it goes, and now it's Anthony McVeigh along the right half wall. He will put it off the backboards, hoping to get it to Bombardier far half wall. He gets it to him, but he's dispossessed of it, and here comes Timofeyev. He just flips the puck into an area. He's hoping that Lynch can get there. Couldn't quite get there in time. And Zach Urban just floated it into the Knoxville zone. It looked like it actually went out of play, so we get a whistle and a stoppage. Dylan Denemy returning to the ice. He had an equipment issue, and Evan Watts, our equipment manager, did a great job of taking care of him in a very quick manner, so he's back out there, which is great news for the Mayhem. Denemy scored a goal last night for Macon with a sharp angle goal. A neutral zone draw will take place. David Pawlowski with a clean win. Alex de Oliveira gives it over, and it's redirected off of Zach Urban's pass into the offensive zone. And it's played by Lionel Marone. And Chance will center it. Marone puts it around the end wall. Caleb Cameron waiting for it far half boards. He sends it into the slot. Keplinger gives it back to Cameron and across the Knoxville blue line on his off wing. He takes a spill. Larry Smith thought about pinching, decided to backpedal instead. The Mayhem have 2 men back as a result, but here come the Ice Bears. And a chance for Kramer. Had a stick checked by David Pawlowski on the hustle back checking. Good defensive play made by David Pawlowski. Now it's Josh Keplinger receiving the long breakout pass. He will fling one at the net from above the right circle, and it's snagged by Joseph Murdaka, who decides to play it. 11:25 to go in period 1. Still it's a 1-1 game here at the Macon Centreplex on Pack the Plex / Nickelodeon night. The Ice Bears work the puck out of their own zone. Scott Cathrell puts it up the middle for Garrett Sargis. He goes wide and delivers it around the end wall. It's halted by Hayden Stewart and accelerated further to the near side. Mike Chimello's got it. Gives a rink-wide pass over to Oscar Arfelt, who sidesteps Brice Nielson, pumps it into the right corner. In pursuit of it now will be Mike Chimello, who carries it in behind the Knoxville cage, spins, gets tripped, nothing called. And the Ice Bears will get this puck out of their own zone. Just barely flutters across the blue line, and now it's Brice Nielson going down his off wing. He's defended by de Oliveira, cuts the net and fires. A kick save is made by Stewart. And now it's Oscar Arfelt in his own end. Arfelt near corner, slides it behind his own net. De Oliveira's pass reaches Chimello. He will bank it off the wall. The Mayhem trying to spring a 2-on-1, but it couldn't happen. Good stick check was made by Jason Price. It's flung at the net by the Mayhem from in front of the Knoxville bench. Price goes back behind his own net to scoop it up. Big hit thrown by Timofeyev in the Knoxville zone moments ago, which elicited that loud round of applause in response. 10:05 to go, 1-1 your score. Here come the Mayhem, 3-on-1. Down the left wing side, it's Brock. Wolter shoots, grazed the outside of the post, puts it back in front, he scores! Colton Wolter! His second goal with the Mayhem in just his 4th game. 2-1 Macon with 9:57 to go. And that is just a case of never giving up on the puck. He came down the ice on a 3-on-1. Had a lot of confidence when he decided to shoot it. And he tried to go near post, upstairs, blocker side on Joseph Murdaka. It looked like it grazed the outside of the left elbow of the net, went off the backboards quickly, and before Murdaka could reposition himself, it bounced off the boards right to Colton Wolter, who skillfully just whacked it past Murdaka to regain Macon's lead. 2-1 Mayhem with 9:40 to go in period 1. The Mayhem keep the puck in the attacking zone with a good stick made by Sean Lynch, who will now go to the Macon bench. The Mayhem nearly getting caught, but another good stick, this time made by de Oliveira, but here comes Knoxville. Lionel Marone will put it off the end wall. That was Wolter's first goal on home ice this season since joining the Mayhem in his 4th total game with them. He had a goal and a fight last Saturday in Peoria 1 week ago. That was just his 2nd game with Macon. Scott Cathrell down the left side, takes a hack from Keplinger, stays on his skates and fires. Hayden Stewart is down with the save. Made the left pad stop and then found the rebound with his glove. 8:58 to go here in period 1. It's a 2-1 Macon lead. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, folks. We hope you're enjoying the broadcast on SPHL Live and on YouTube. We're so glad to have you with us for some Saturday night hockey. We'll be back in just a second, folks. We're going to take a brief pause for the cause on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. So please enjoy this commercial break until we come back.
Are you looking to raise some money for a cause and have a blast while doing it? The Mayhem would be happy to help you out through our fundraiser program, available for all home games throughout the season. You buy tickets from us for $10 each, you sell them for $15, and you keep the remaining $5 per ticket sold for whichever cause your heart desires. If you were to sell 50 tickets, for example, you would collect $250 for your fundraiser. Call our office at 478-803-1592 for more information.
So that goal scored by Wolter was actually given to Sean Lynch, so that's going to have to get fixed, but it came at 10:03. And we've just concluded our second media timeout. Already there have been 3 goals, so there's really no reason to not suspect that this crowd isn't enjoying themselves tonight. This excellent crowd we have on hand. Folks, I got to tell you, this may be the largest crowd in the history of the Mayhem organization. Without a doubt, it's the largest since I've been here, but Knoxville scores right off the face-off. Another tap-in, a backdoor play that materialized so quickly that the Mayhem were just caught off guard. Garrett Sargis tapping it into the open net. Hayden Stewart not happy. And Sargis has just re-silenced the house. It's his 13th goal of the season. And he's now reached 22 points with that tally. Of course, if you count the assist on Nielsen's goal, he's up to 23. Zach Urban gave it away in the neutral zone. He's got to hustle back now. 2-on-1 develops for Knoxville. Sargis turns on a dime. Left circle, fires. Saved by Stewart. The crease is cleared, but the puck's kept in the zone by Branchik, who will just drop it back across the opposing blue line. The Ice Bears on a delayed offside have to regroup. Zach Urban sidesteps a check, corrals the puck in the neutral zone with his glove, steps in across the Knoxville blue line, sets up Pirog left or right side. His shot is denied by Joseph Murdaka. Good steal of possession by Dylan Denemy in the neutral zone. He flings it in behind the Knoxville cage. 8:05 to go here in period 1. Anytime the Mayhem have scored, the Ice Bears have responded in a very quick manner. Stepan Timofeyev nearly sprung Colton Wolter on what would have been a breakaway, but he was just beaten to it. Jamming at it, Larry Smith pumps it out to center ice. Here comes Timofeyev. He's joined by Lynch. The shot from Timofeyev is on goal, but stopped by Murdaka with a chest save. Looked like it was denied by the logo, the crest, the Ice Bears logo on his jersey. But as I was saying, without a doubt, this is the best crowd that I've seen since I've been here, and I would imagine it's at least one of the top 3 or 4 in terms of attendance in the history of the franchise. Jason Price scoops up the puck from his own zone and wheels out to his left. Lucas Bombardier has fed the puck along the goal line, or the blue line rather. Now it's been rimmed into the Macon zone by Anthony McVeigh. Oscar Arfelt picks it up behind his own net, shifts it onto his backhand and flings it off the glass. Price is back to get it in his own end. Jason Price sends a long pass up to Ricky Kramer in front of the Knoxville bench. And here comes Stefan Bricado, who twisted it in front. It's cleared aside by Larry Smith and out past his own blue line to center. Jason Price. Bombardier, good touch pass to Springham by Bricado. Bombardier's shot is blocked. Loose puck, Bricado gets it back, tries to stuff it in. Stewart somehow keeps it out of the net. Excellent save by Hayden Stewart. That could have been Knoxville's first lead of the game easily. We are 13 minutes into this game. We've got a 2-2 tie on our hand. As we expected, a high-flying, up-tempo, high-scoring game accompanied by this fantastic atmosphere. Garrett Sargis' goal coming exactly 1 minute and 7 seconds after Macon's. That was scored by Colton Wolter, which they've already fixed. They originally gave it to Sean Lynch. So Caleb Cameron chases after his own dump in the far corner. It's been wheeled around to the near half wall. Stepping in to assist is Alex DeOliveira, but the Ice Bears come away with it. And playing defensively in DeOliveira's stead, it looks like, is David Pawlowski. DeOliveira's got it in front of the far half wall. Caleb Cameron puts it into the middle for Josh Keplinger. He centers it off of Pawlowski and wide. And now it's played by Lionel Marone, who can't clear it past Zemlitska at the right point. Keplinger gave it to Pawlowski in the near corner. Keplinger gets it right back. Doesn't have much to work with in front of the net. Attempted the Svechnikov, and that one didn't work out. It's handled by Joseph Murdaka. A for effort. And that's not an easy move to pull off. They're calling it the Svechnikov, or the lacrosse-style goal, which I believe all started at the University of Michigan a few years ago. Andrei Svechnikov's the man in the NHL who's really mastered it, and we saw Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators pull it off probably a couple weeks ago. think the NHL maybe a little bit nervous that it's going to start becoming a regular thing because they've already announced rules for to officials of what to look for and what is considered legal and not legal with that goal. As Hayden Stewart covers up a loose puck, Scott Cothrell lost it in his opponent's skates, and now some helter-skelter ensues behind Stewart's net. 6 minutes even remain in period one. 2-2 is your score. Goals have come from Keplinger, Nielson, Wolter, and Sargis in that order. It's actually Scott Cothrell who assisted on Nielsen's goal, at least according to point streaks. So I misidentified him as Sargis, 73 instead of 72. By the way, folks, you'll have to bear with me in the play-by-play tonight with these Nickelodeon jerseys. The numbers are a little bit difficult to see on the backs of the jerseys. The sort of the green splatter behind the blue number. So if I'm a little bit slower than I normally seem, that most likely is the reason. So my apologies to our radio listeners in particular. Dylan Denemy one-hands the puck back to Larry Smith in his own zone. Smith will get the return from his fellow veteran blue liner, Zach Urban. Smith goes up the middle with a pass to Mike Gimello, rather Denemy, who gives it off to his right for Pirog, who missed the net. And Denemy will corral it near half wall and pump it down to the near side corner. And Brice Nielson's got it near his own blue line. He marches out to the opposing blue line with it. He fires, tried to use Zemlitska as a screen, but Zemlitska blocked it. Now Stewart will just cover it in his crease. 5:10 to go in the first. 2-2 your score. Wojtek Zemlitska, a Czech defenseman, already in his 17th game here this season. Him winning a nice defensive zone draw off the stick of Sean Lynch. Puck flutters up in the air near Stefan Bricado at the blue line, and he will just roll one into Macon ice. Arfelt gives it across to Wojtek Zemlitska. He stays on it, gains the red line, puts it off the stick of Timofeyev and into Knoxville territory. Joseph Murdaka puts it up to the far half wall. The Ice Bears have gotten it up to the opposing blue line, but no further. Zemlitska fires it out to center ice. Nobody receiving the pass. Branchik the other way. Puts it back into Macon territory. Colton Wolter. Back to Zemlitska, up to Lynch. Nice pass. He split the ice. Backhand shot. Kick save by Murdaka. Lynch goes tumbling into the near corner boards, and a penalty will be called for the first time tonight. Sean Lynch with a good burst of speed was fed a beautiful pass from the defensive zone. I believe it was Wojtek Zemlitska who fed him the pass. And Cooper Jones is going to have a seat. The Mayhem will go to their first power play of this game after the media timeout. 4:19 to go here in period one. This is our final media timeout of the first period. This Mayhem power play will be brought to you by Wild Wing Cafe. Macon's power play has struggled greatly of late, especially, folks. They have not converted in 4 consecutive games. They've gone 0 for 5 of their last 6, and the only game in which they did convert was 1 for 8 against Roanoke on the road. So it's been tough sledding for the Mayhem on the man advantage, but they're hoping to turn things around tonight. Knoxville's penalty kill has always been strong ever since Jeff Carr has taken over as the head coach. Last season it was the best in the league for really the entire season. It was north of 90% for almost the entirety of the campaign. Very impressive. It was hovering around the 91-92% plateau for the bulk of the year. This season it hasn't been quite that spectacular. It's regressed towards the mean a little bit, but it's still a top 3 penalty kill in the SPHL, clicking at an 85.2% success rate. And a good face-off win in the defensive zone by Stefan Bricado, but the Mayhem swarm the puck, secure it. Urban tees up a shot from the right point. It gets blocked. Pinballs to the left side of the ice. Dylan Denemy puts it to the corner. Colton Wolter gives it to Lynch. Now it's Pirog to the blue line. Urban, Pirog above the right circle. Urban tees up a one-timer. He scores! Zach Urban has regained the lead for Macon. It's 3-2 Mayhem. That was a howitzer of a shot from the blue line by the Mayhem alternate captain on defense, Zach Urban. And they're back in front by a goal. It's 3-2. What a way to reestablish confidence on the power play. Scoring on their first man advantage of the night against a very strong penalty-killing unit. Hayden Stewart has to fight off a quick wrist shot awkwardly. He draws a loud round of applause from the audience. They're hoping the Mayhem can maintain this lead now finally. They've got to be a little bit more responsible defensively after gaining leads. It's been two consecutive times they've scored. They've allowed Knoxville to retaliate less than 3.5 minutes later both times. So the Mayhem are going to look to hunker down a little bit more defensively now. So 3-2 your score in favor of Macon with 3:38 to go in period one. And a fight breaks out in the far corner. Alex Carlson is in it. I can't tell which Mayhem player that is, but he lost his footing immediately and is down on his wallet for the time being. Alex Carlson's on top of him. That fight did not last as long as he was hoping, I don't imagine. That is Josh Keplinger, who opened the scoring tonight at just 2:38, is now just an assist away from the Gordie Howe. He and Alex Carlson are going to have a seat in their respective penalty boxes, although it doesn't make much sense with only 3:28 remaining in the period. And I think that's what the linesman tonight, William Bray, has told Carlson. And Vanessa Lorenz has told Keplinger the same thing. To not bother going into the box because no matter what happens, they're not going back onto the ice for the rest of this period, so they have just gone back down to the locker room. So we've got 3 minutes and 28 seconds of first period time remaining. The Mayhem leading by a 3-2 score, also a 1-point advantage in the shots on goal category as well, 11-10. This game has now officially had all the elements of a fantastic start, everything you could ask for if you're a fan, if you're one of the 4,000 to 5,000 in attendance tonight. Possibly even more than that, folks. I'm not very good at counting, but there are a lot of people here. But if you're a fan, especially if you're one coming to your first hockey game, you've already seen 5 goals in a fight. You really can't ask for much more than that. Larry Smith gives it up to Stephen Pirog on his right. Beg your pardon, that's Dylan Denemy, who floats a pass to Pirog diagonally, who puts it on goal from a tough angle. It was denied by Murdaka with the stick. He was down in the butterfly to stop it, and now here comes Nielson the other way. Knoxville's leading scorer, very dangerous. Right side, fires, good shot, but it was stopped by Stewart. It's delivered in behind the goal again. Nielsen's got it, loses possession, recorrals it in the corner near side. Gets a quick return from Garrett Sargis, and misfires on that shot. I believe it went off a Macon leg. Now it's Oscar Arfelt, who coughs up possession behind his own goal line. Riley Christensen's shot is blocked, and Nielsen will roll it back in behind the Macon net and around to the far corner. Dylan Denemy sized up in the far corner boards, and now Arfelt receives it behind his own net. Does not have too many options to go to. He decides to dish it to his left to Cousineau. Arfelt caught up ice a little bit. Cousineau backpedaling in his stead. Here's a wrist shot fought off by Stewart. Cleared to the half wall, and here come the Mayhem. 2-on-2 develops. Arfelt left side. He's joined by Timofeyev onside. Arfelt drops it into the left circle. Timofeyev pursues it. Defended by Kramer. And now it's Colton Wolter taking it in behind the Knoxville cage. Wolter goes down. Lynch helps him out. Lynch feeds Wolter the pass. McVeigh is all over him. He doesn't have much room to maneuver down there, and McVeigh eventually just pried it off his stick and gave it to Branchik below his own goal line. Now stepping in is Alex D. Oliveira, who's held up along the near half wall. Puck bounces dangerously on net. Joseph Murdaka had to be careful, and he was able to make the save. 100 seconds to go here in period one. 3-2 Macon your score. The goals tonight have been scored by Josh Keplinger, and then then Brice Nielson. And then following Nielsen's goal, it was Colton Wolter, and then Garrett Sargis a minute and 7 seconds later, and then Zach Urban with a power play strike from the blue line. A loose puck in behind the Knoxville cage. Jason Price twists one up into his own slot. Here comes Lucas Bombardier down the right side. He is watched by Alex de Oliveira. The puck pops loose into the right circle. Trying to settle it there is Anthony McVeigh. He lost a handle on it, and it's been flung off the glass and out into neutral territory. Sargis spins with it. He flings it up the ice. Here comes Stefan Braccato in across the blue line. He takes it wide into the circle. Braccato tries to slip it in front. Didn't have much going for him there. All of his teammates were covered, but here's a chance from the circle. Glove save by Hayden Stewart. Huge stop with his glove to deny Anthony McVeigh from near point-blank range. 1:01 to go in the first, 3-2 Macon. Anthony McVeigh with that wrist shot from the bottom of the far circle. McVeigh looking for his 13th goal of the season, which would have tied him with Scott Cathrell for second on the team. There'll be a face-off in the far circle of the Macon zone. It'll be to the right of Hayden Stewart. He just made an enormous save on Anthony McVeigh. The puck drops. The Ice Bears come away with it. A diving play made by Nielson to try to keep the attack going fails. Pirog through center. Fires it wide of the net intentionally. Gets his own Karam. Now takes it all the way into the far corner. He's watched carefully by Pierre Ouellette. And Pawlowski's down there as well, trying to help out Pirog. Took a whack at the puck, but couldn't take it off the stick of Bombardier, who fires it in on net from center. And it's denied by Hayden Stewart. That was Josh Pietrantonio, I beg your pardon. 35.5 to go in the first, 3-2 Macon. There's going to be a face-off in the far circle now to the right of Hayden Stewart. It will feature Colton Walter and Scott Cathrell. The puck drops. The Mayhem win the draw but can't clear it. Left point shot gets blocked by the Mayhem, and here they come. Sean Lynch missed Timofeyev. No icing as he had gained the red line. Sargis scoops it up from behind his own goal line and works it out to his own blue line, but had his pass intercepted by Timofeyev. Now here come the Mayhem. Right side shot, stopped, rebound, bounces into the near corner. Flung off the glass all the way down. Will this be far enough for icing? No, it just died just short of the goal line. So the Ice Bears catch a break with the ice being chippier at the end of a period here. It didn't go all the way down. And now here come the Ice Bears with time winding down. That's done it for period one. 3-2 Macon through your first 20 minutes of play. What an atmosphere on hand tonight on Pack the Plex night. And Hayden Stewart is given several well-deserved fist bumps for keeping his team ahead with that last huge glove save that he made on Anthony McVeigh. McVeigh was at point-blank range, a dangerous shooter from a dangerous spot on the ice, and Stewart just robbed him with the glove, which, if he doesn't make that save, it's a totally different feeling for the Mayhem going into period two. Not only that, folks, but the goals in which Knoxville scored, there was nothing that Hayden Stewart could do. They were both little backdoor tap-ins from the strong side of the shooter. So it was really just, you could have put anyone there on the ice for the goals that were scored, and they would have scored them. The first came off the stick of Brice Nielson, who received the pass on a 2-on-1 from Scott Cathrell. The pass from Cathrell was perfect. It was on the tape. All Nielson had to do was keep his stick on the ice, and he did. And then Garrett Sargis, just a minute and 7 seconds after Macon's goal was scored, Sargis buried his 11-10 into period one, assisted by Cathrell and Brice Nielson. Sargis's goal would retie the game after Colton Walter's strike, and then 4.5 minutes later or so, Zach Urban blew a power play bullet past Joseph Murdaka from the blue line to regain Macon's lead, 3-2. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. We're so glad to have you with us. To the few of you out there who are tuned into this game and not here watching it, you are missing a great atmosphere, but hopefully you're enjoying the broadcast regardless on SPHL Live and on YouTube. We're glad you decided to join us, regardless of what side you're rooting for here tonight. So, folks, we're going to take a step aside here. Going to take a pause for the cause and play back Monday morning's radio segment from 100.9 The Creek, the official radio promotional partner of the Macon Mayhem. That'll last about 12 minutes or so. We've got about 16 and a half before second period action is brought your way here on Pack the Plex / Nickelodeon Night. Thanks for joining us again, everybody. Alex Von Coydel with you. We hope to keep you on board with us all throughout the night, as this has already proven to be an exciting one. We'll talk to you soon, folks. The next voice you hear will be from Tony Doolin, the voice of 100.9 The Creek.
100.9 The Creek, Real Music, Real Radio, Creekside Mornings, Tony Doolin, Charles Davis. That is Tyler Childers, who did not win a Grammy.
Should have won a Grammy last night.
Country Squire, title track from his last album.
Yola should have won a Grammy last night.
Yeah, but they didn't. Charles.
Throw the whole Grammy away.
You know who else should have won a Grammy for Best Spoken Word Latin Album?
Alex Von Coydel?
Alex Von Coydel from the Macon Mayhem.
Yeah. Alex Von Coydel, the voice. I didn't even know you were into that. Alex Von Coydel, the voice. Voice.
Alex Von Coydel. It was for his book on tape, Mi Burro Es Muy Grande.
I mean, I know you were nominated for the Best Electronica Hockey Announcer Intro Theme Song. Sad you didn't win that either. Robbed of
Alex.
that too. But I mean,
That was a secret.
I mean,
Sir.
I'm feeling your pain today.
By the way, you can't download that on iTunes.
I mean, and Spotify if you want to. Make it your ringtone.
99 cents.
Hell
of a deal. Morning,
I'm
Alex.
trying to, morning.
You want to try again? You want to start over?
Oh, I've written them several times. I just haven't gotten anything back. I guess they didn't like it.
Guess not.
Grammy voters,
Zach
man.
Smith is here. Good morning, Zach.
Morning, guys.
How are
Morning,
you?
man.
Doing pretty well.
Oh, we got a big week.
Yeah.
We got 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night.
Yes, sir.
Big events for each night, Alex.
Yeah, we can't wait. We've got college night on Thursday.
Come on with it.
We're doing a $10 ticket discount for college students with a college ID. We're looking into getting some drink specials for that night as well.
You know.
Because it is Thirsty Thursday.
Thursday, exactly.
Shout out to
Is
Section
this the
108.
first Thursday game we've had this year?
It's the only one.
Only one.
It's the only Thursday home game.
There were a lot last year.
Yeah, I know.
One
So
Thursday game this year.
That's a good thing, I think, for us. But when we do have them, we want to make sure that we're taking advantage of them and
Yeah.
getting the right audience out there. So
Absolutely. My apologies to you, Zach. I will not be there Thursday.
Anthony Ennis, little fella.
Anthony Little Fella Ennis
Little fella.
That's okay. That's
will be the in-game host Thursday.
Yeah.
Because I got to get a... in the morning on Friday.
Come on, man. We had a lot of drinking games adapted to Mayhem plan for that.
Tony, you're going to miss out on those.
Man, I'm great at drinking games. Also, we will probably not be doing that.
Yeah, no, probably not.
I do want to say this. We've not addressed this on the air, Alex. I don't know if you addressed it during your play-by-play, but a couple of weeks ago, we were playing musical chairs after the first period.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was some question because it's tough to hear when you're in that bowl on the ice. It's kind of tough to hear the music, and it was a song that had some quiet passages in it, and I thought that the song may have stopped, and I eliminated a contestant from the game.
Oh, no.
The entire arena boos me.
Oh, no, Tony.
did you eliminate like a 4-year-old kid?
No,
You're
it was-
out of here.
Yeah,
What was the age, Tony?
she looked like maybe she was 20. Something like
Okay.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
then she'll be all right.
Should be all right. It's not like I eliminated a 4-year-old child. Like
Because
you
that'd
said.
have been bad.
But I got booed, Alex. Did you not address this during play-by-play? Did you not hear this?
Usually during play-by-play, I'm going to the bathroom and playing back some interviews that we have or line change or something like that.
Basically, no.
I never get to hear your broadcast between periods, so I don't know what you do. I don't know if you just sit up there and sing or what.
No,
Look, chair
broadcasters
dancing.
broadcasters need a little relief too.
Yeah. So that's your smoke break. You just play some pre-recorded stuff. Go grab a chicken sandwich,
Sure,
whatnot.
Sure.
Get him some Dippin' Dots or something, just to keep his energy up.
Never eaten during a game before.
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yeah, not
Is that a
once.
superstition?
No, not really. But I have eaten before a game and accidentally burped on the air one time.
Oh,
so
no.
kind of learned my lesson.
Oh,
We do that every day.
no. I mean, we do, man.
We don't have the high standards that you have.
Well, it was mid-sentence though. It just kind of
What?
exploded.
Oh,
That's what happens when you go to a Brazilian steakhouse, bro. You get the meat burgers.
you get the meat burps. So Thursday we're taking on Pensacola.
That's right.
Puck drop 7:30.
Yeah.
I only bring up the booing thing just because I hope Anthony gets booed.
We can make it happen.
So we can make
I really hope Anthony gets booed.
we can put the wheels in motion to
So
make
I'm
sure
not
he
the
gets.
only one. I felt so hated though. I did. I was like, oh God. And you know, you got to be sensitive. I wanted to turn around and say, hey, I'm not a ref. But I didn't. I didn't because I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't say that in the Centreplex.
Maybe one of our fans will
And
make
the
a
cinema-
sign with the Grinch missing an eye to troll him or something.
Oh, Anthony did make a fine one-eyed Grinch.
He did.
So let's talk about Friday night's
Yeah.
game. Again, 7:30 puck drop. Friday night, we are taking on Knoxville.
Knoxville.
Huntsville.
Huntsville.
Friday.
That's what I
Yes,
did.
sir.
Don't correct me, Evan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
I mean, it was just a different bill.
Zach looked a little scared of it. He was like, is he really not supposed to correct him? No, Zach, you can correct me. It's fine. It's fine.
Don't do it. Though.
So Friday night, we are taking on Huntsville.
Huntsville.
The Havoc, I believe.
That's correct.
What are we looking for in that game? It is First Responders Night.
That's right. Havoc versus Mayhem. Always fun, right? All it's
Yep.
missing is pandemonium, I guess.
Wow.
Oh,
Life is pandemonium.
I'll be the in-game host.
So there's
You
that.
got pandemonium
So we got
Friday
that, too.
night. No problem.
First Responders Night, we're doing a similar discount that we're doing for the college students on Thursday. $10 admission for anyone who's a local police officer, firefighter, things like that.
Ambulance drivers, first response team, things like that. yeah.
Paramedics. We're gonna, I think last year we had a ambulance in front of the Centreplex with flashing lights going on and
Okay.
stuff like that.
All
So
right.
we'll probably try to do something like that again on Friday. And then our big night Saturday, we're doing our
yeah.
$6 tickets. Pack the Plex is what we're calling it. And we've just been reaching out to anybody and everybody who we possibly can to try to fill the arena as much as we can. We're trying to get our biggest attendance, or our biggest crowd in a single game on that Saturday. So we're looking forward to it.
$6 tickets a great value. We're taking on Knoxville
Mm-hmm.
on Saturday. 7 o'clock puck drop on that. And it is Nickelodeon night.
That's right. Yep.
When will the jerseys be debuted, Alex?
So I sent in the reveal graphic to Nickelodeon. We're still waiting on approval from them,
Okay.
but
All right.
I've seen the jerseys. Everyone on our staff has seen them. We like them,
Okay.
and we're just waiting on the green light from
From the
Nickelodeon
Nick.
to go
Okay.
ahead and post them on our social media. But it'll be this week. It'll probably be early this week, either today or tomorrow, I think.
Nice. All right, so we'll be looking for that. And you said
No.
there may be an announcement maybe this week, something? You said
That's
you wanted
right.
to tease it?
Yep, we've got a big announcement that we're making tomorrow as well.
Okay.
So just stay tuned on all of our social media as always. It'll be on our website
Okay.
and our MailChimp. I don't know who receives my MailChimps, but it'll go out there as well.
Okay.
For some reason, I received 3 of them.
3?
Every email that gets sent out, I get 3.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't know why.
Do you oversee like multiple Creek email
yeah,
accounts? That's
yeah.
probably why.
Okay. All right.
I still don't get what a hint was. What a hint at?
What?
No, he said he was just going to tease. He didn't say there'd be a hint.
I thought it was gonna be a hint.
No.
But then what you teasing for?
I'm teasing because there's going to be a big announcement tomorrow.
I'm done. I see the reason why you didn't win that Grammy.
I thought you should have won. You were robbed,
I
Alex.
mean,
So,
just saying.
Zach,
like
this
we owe.
weekend, any surprises in the in-game promotion area that I need to be aware of?
Oh yeah, we are having a touch a truck on Friday.
Okay,
kinda
touch
like
a truck.
Alex said. And then on Saturday, it's Nickelodeon Double Dare. I don't know if you remember that show, but that's
Oh, yeah.
kind of the show we
Okay.
adapted for it. So
Okay.
we're gonna be having some challenges and stuff. So we'll see how those turn out.
We crawling through big peanut butter and jelly sandwiches trying to find flags and things. Is that what we doing? we.
I think that's a little bit too messy for
Okay.
us, but we'll have something.
I'm
Is Alex being slimed?
Oh, please tell me somebody got to get
Oh,
slime.
we're trying. We're trying to
Okay,
plan
now.
something out.
If we leave it up to a fan vote, though, everyone knows who it would be.
Yeah, me.
Because you got booed. So.
Well, actually, yeah, maybe.
I got booed.
I was gonna say Blair, but
no, it's going.
people,
It's going
people
to
would want
Tony.
to see Blair.
He may be the only one I'd lose to. Blair, I'd vote for you too. So,
To save yourself.
we did
No,
discuss
we-
that. We did discuss possibly sliming Blair. Is that not happening?
I mean, I think we're thinking about doing a fan vote between the staff and then maybe a player as well. So
Do not put my name.
Put
on
Tony's
that.
name
Do
on that
not
list, Zach.
Put my name
might
on
do it.
that.
We came this close to slamming Colin last year. It
Zach,
almost
put,
happened.
Zach, put his name on that. Put his name on that. ballot.
Zach, don't put my
Oh,
name on
we're
the
go-
ballot.
we're
And
gonna
don't even
do
put
it.
his name. Just put the guy who eliminated the little girl on the ice, and that'll get them all on there. That'll get them all on there. Oh yeah, I remember that dude.
I got booed by the entire Centreplex.
I'm telling you, it was loud. Like,
I was like,
it reverberated.
I think I was turning red. I'm not sure. I was like, look, there's no prize for this. What?
Boo. Our fans know how to boo, if nothing else.
That is They do. It is a skill set.
Enthusiastic, different ranges of them.
So if you want tickets to any of these 3 games, College Night on Thursday, First Responders Night on Friday, and of course Pack the Plex for Nickelodeon Night on Saturday. Jersey auction after the game as well.
Yes.
Don't want to forget that. You can go to
MaconMayhem.com.
I was going to say the Centreplex box office. You can do that too.
You can do that too.
Yeah.
Or get them online.
Get them there.
Online is fine.
Yeah.
Yep. If you want to save yourself the fees on Ticketmaster, then just go to the box office and do it that way. And if it's a group of 10 or more, as always, you can book it through our office by calling 478-803-1592.
All right, let's talk about this line change tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
All right.
The Coach Ryan Michael coaches show downstairs. You know who the players are that will be in attendance tomorrow night.
I don't yet, but
Okay.
I do have a list. I think I showed you who
who
all has done
I was
what.
talking about your list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were talking about this one.
Okay, so as of right now, the people who have not done line change on our team are Colton Wolter, obviously, because he just got here, and Wojtek Zemlicka, and Hayden Stewart. Oh, and Chamello.
Oh, there we go.
Those are
Limoncello?
those are 4 potential players who haven't done it yet this season. Who I
Now
might-
the morning show list is much longer.
It is, yeah.
A lot longer list, guys.
It's harder to get people to that one.
I know.
Which after they do it, they always enjoy it. They want to come back. But
Nobody wants to get up this early.
yeah,
Nobody wants to get up this early. I understand. I don't either.
I wouldn't advise
either.
it, but you know.
Hey,
I'm glad Zach got up this early. Good morning, Zach.
Yeah,
I normally wouldn't, so.
I know.
I mean,
he's doing me a huge solid all of last week and this week by driving me to work, so I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna buy him a steak or something.
Oh,
I'm gonna hold you
don't
to
take him
that.
to the
I know.
Brazilian steakhouse. You have to flip the cards over. It gets a little crazy.
Good Lord. He's taking you out to eat.
That's
Zach.
all it takes just to get a steak dinner out of Alex is
Just
driving
like a,
around?
like a Texas Roadhouse steak.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Here's
No offense,
I'll take
Texas
it.
Roadhouse.
No,
I'll
no,
take it. I'll take it.
we've been talking Brazilian
Very good.
steakhouse all morning. The unlimited meat. They limit you
We're
at
not
Texas
going to
Roadhouse.
a Brasserie Circa or something like that.
Look, they break those Texas Roadhouse steaks down by weight. But I think they got a 20 ounce.
Get you a big one.
They got a 20.
Get you a big one.
Get the 20.
Texas
Roadhouse.
I'm gonna
I
take
love Texas
advantage.
Roadhouse.
All the rolls.
Peanuts and rolls.
All the rolls.
It's like Olive Garden is known for soup, salad, and breadsticks. Texas Roadhouse,
Peanuts and rolls, baby.
So I'm going to pull a Tyler here and to remind everyone that speaking of Texas Roadhouse, we've got our next family
You
4-pack
better get it.
on February 7th.
You better get it.
Look at that segue.
That includes 4 tickets and a $30 gift card at Texas Roadhouse, all for just $50. It's going to be Friday, February 7th.
Look at him.
First home game after this weekend.
All right. Alex, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Zach,
Thank
good
you
to
guys.
see you.
Yeah, nominee.
Yeah, we have played again.
Damn shame he lost.
Damn shame. It's fine production work.
But Billie Eilish decided needed to get that award, so it's just another one.
Here's the Secret Sisters cabin on the creek.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of SPHL Calls of the Week. From Roanoke, I'm Brian Gardner. The action continued in the SPHL this week, and of course, it's time to let you know how it sounded from some of the radio voices around the league. Let's jump in. We'll begin on Friday night in Peoria, where the first-place Rivermen had their hands full with the last-place Mayhem. A hard-fought game through 60 minutes had the score tied at 1, so we moved into overtime. The vaunted Rivermen attack could only be held at bay for so long. Here's the voice of the Rivermen, Andrew Mossbrooks. Shot! Net stays open. McMartin with a shot. The Evident with a drive. A second, a third, Greg. Empty net. They score! A sea of chances, and Robin Hoagland is there in the overtime finish. Hoagland's 8th goal of the season wraps this one up. The Rivermen get 2 points. They're 22-4-3 and winners of a 2-1 final here against the Macon Mayhem. And the momentum from Hoagland's game winner then carried into Saturday as the Rivermen beat the Mayhem 5-2 to complete the weekend sweep. On Saturday, the Birmingham Bulls were at home to take on the Huntsville Havoc, fresh off of a 3-2 shootout win over the Ice Flyers in Pensacola. The Bulls fell into a 2-0 hole in the first, but would erase that deficit late in the period. Off to Eli Gold.
The Bulls dump the puck in. Here's Golka behind the net. He'll stop on a dime, loses the puck. It's into the slot. A wrist shot, scores! Jorad from Golka. And Birmingham on the board on a power play goal.
And just over a minute later, they'd tie the game. Back to Eli for the call.
It bounces to Barber. Barber around the near side, Palmerville watching on the short side. He scores! Barber, where seemingly no opening existed. Barber beating De La Verne to the short side, and the hockey game is tied.
That was the first of 3 goals for Barber, whose hat trick helped the Bulls to a 6-2 win on Saturday night, their 4th win in a row. Now let's finish off the week in Pensacola, where the Rail Yard Dogs were visiting the Ice Flyers on the team's $5 weekend. A Garrett Milan goal late in the 3rd would tie the game at 2 and force overtime, but the Dogs would get the last laugh. Here's my call from the hangar. Jeff Jones at the net, Jones to the net, Jones with a backhand save made, rebound, stuffed home, and they score! That's Brent Sherwood! He silences the crowd against his former team, and Roanoke takes it in overtime. Sherwood, the game winner, and your final score this evening from Pensacola. In overtime, Roanoke 3 and Pensacola 2. Playing against his former team, Brant Sherwood silenced a crowd of over 8,000, and the Rail Yard Dogs took the extra point in overtime, 3-2. That's all we've got for this edition of SPHL Calls of the Week. Until next week, I'm Brian Gardner.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We hope you enjoyed that Creekside interview from Monday morning with Mayhem Game Ops Director Zach Smith, myself, Tony Doolin, Charles Davis, every Monday morning, 100.9 The Creek. Real music, real radio, the official radio promotional partners of your Macon Mayhem. Again, every Monday morning, I'll be there with a player guest, sometimes a staff guest, like this past week, to help promote the outstanding weekend that we've had so far. And it's not over yet. Still 40 minutes of hockey yet to be played here on Pack the Plex night. And believe me when I tell you this, folks, this Plex is certainly packed. We've got a really big group of people in every single one of these sections here at the Macon Centreplex, and if you've not been here before, this place is huge. And without a doubt, the energy in this building has helped to inspire this Mayhem team to a very solid start to this game. They lead 3-2 over the Knoxville Ice Bears. A back and forth affair for the opening 20 minutes of play. Both teams exchanged goals. The Mayhem scoring the first and the last of period 1. Keplinger opened the scoring. Nielson responded. Colton Wolter followed it up. Sargis responded. And then Zach Urban took the lead again. 3-2 Macon heading into period 2, which is now underway. The Ice Bears have it in their own zone and have just iced the puck all the way down. This will be a Tropical Smoothie Cafe icing called against Knoxville. Let's take a quick glance around the SPHL for an out-of-town scoreboard update, brought to you by Hampton Inn & Suites. Huntsville with a 3-2 unofficial final score over the Fayetteville Marksmen, so the Haddock have now won their 2nd straight after defeating the Mayhem last night and winning on the road tonight in overtime on home ice against Fayetteville. We'll get to the rest of your out-of-town scoreboard update when we've got a minute. The Mayhem losing the offensive zone draw, but maintaining possession of the puck in the offensive zone. Urban rattles it in behind the net, hoping for Cameron, and never quite reached him. The Ice Bears muddling things up and getting it up the wall to the near side. It's Stefan Braccato, who will slide it over to Ricky Kramer. His backhand pass goes off a Mayhem skate. It was Caleb Cameron who disrupted it. Now Jason Price swerves in across the Macon blue line and delivers it in behind the net. Side of the goal. It's Kramer trying to center it, intercepted by Zach Urban, rather Bombardier, who tried to center it. The Mayhem have cleared it out to neutral ice, and Jason Price flings it right up the middle. It's been whacked in across the Macon line once more. Wojtek Zemlicka backpedals behind his own goal as both teams exchange players on the benches. Steven Pirog swoops in behind his own goal and picks up the puck. He will deliver it out to center for Josh Cousineau, who's got his stick wrapped up for the moment. Scott Cathrell over the Macon line, left circle, put his shot on, stopped by Stewart. His first save of the period was routine. Zemlicka's got it inside of his own trapezoid, and Cousineau has just cleared it off the glass and down into Knoxville ice. Good stick lift by Dylan Denemy, but he couldn't maintain possession in the attacking zone. Larry Smith covering a lot of ice to play that puck, has his pocket picked, but stays on it. It is played by Scott Cuthrell in the near corner. He drives to the front of the net, loses the puck. Good paddle from Hayden Stewart, who got his stick in there to break up the play from Cuthrell. Now it's turned at the net from a tough angle near the half wall. Again stopped by Stewart. He stays in position, hugging the near side post. Long left point shot is on. Ricocheted, stopped by Stewart. Makes a right pad save with his leg, and it's been cleared all the way down on net, so no icing. And the Mayhem catch a break. This is the period of the long change, as Doc Emmerich describes it. Both teams have to be especially careful when changing lines. And Stewart makes another kick save, but the Mayhem will be going to the penalty box for the first time tonight. Knoxville will get a power play. 17:51 to go in the second period, which has been owned by Knoxville thus far, and they'll get an opportunity with the man advantage. There's a hook on the way through on that zone entry, and Sean Lynch is going to have a seat. Knoxville's power play coming into this game ranked at 5th best in the SPHL, 17.3% on the season. And the faceoff's going to be to the right side of Hayden Stewart. Anthony McVeigh to take the offensive zone draw. He's got a chip on his shoulder after having been robbed earlier in this game at the end of period 2 by Stewart's glove. But he wins the offensive zone face-off. The left point, it's Cooper Jones. He will give it down to Nielson, back to Jones, returns it to Nielson, left circle. He fires, blocked by Urban, and cleared. It's Caleb Cameron who got it all the way down the ice. This Mayhem penalty kill is brought to you by J&J's Heating and Air Conditioning. Here comes Brice Nielson right up the gut. He delivers it to Anthony McVeigh. He gets a return from Bricado, gives it back to him, left circle, puts it in front. It goes all the way through, wide to the right half wall. It's held in the zone temporarily. McVeigh will spin it down to the far corner. Bricado centers. McVeigh to the left circle for Nielson. Couldn't receive the pass. He will just have to drop it down the half wall. Scott Cothrell gives it across. Knuckles around in the crease. It's been worked back up to the circles. Cooper Jones feeds it to the goal line. Here's a cross-crease pass that's steered aside by Stewart with the paddle. Up to the top again, Cooper Jones, slap pass, side of the goal. Unable to corral it was Anthony McVeigh. Bounced too hotly off his skate. McVeigh from the outer hash mark to the right circle gets a give-and-go pass. McVeigh to the top, one-timer by Jones, redirected wide of the net. And Oscar Arfelt pinning up McVeigh to the boards. It's going to be another penalty against Macon and another penalty against Knoxville. So what would have been a Knoxville power play is ultimately going to end up just being 4-on-4 hockey in the next 45 seconds, but Knoxville will still have a 4-on-3 to work with. There are a couple of interferences away from the play. And Cooper Jones has just gone to the All-State Bonding penalty box. Zach Urban will go to the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box. .45 seconds to go on the hooking infraction called against Sean Lynch. 16:36 to go in period 2. 3-2 Macon is your score. Knoxville will get a 4-on-3 power play for the next 45 seconds, in which Lynch is in the box with Zach Urban. The face-off will be in the neutral zone. So actually, folks, it will not be a 4-on-3. It'll remain a 5-on-4. Which probably favors Macon, because 4-on-3 power plays are, most would argue, a little bit more lethal than a standard 5-on-4 just because of the increased open ice. They are, however, very much impromptu power plays. They're so rare that coaches seldom practice them during the week. Lucas Bombardier receives it from Garrett Sargis and then leaves it at his own blue line. The puck is conceded, and here come the Mayhem the other way. Pirog one-on-one. Left circle doesn't have much in the way of reinforcements, so we'll just play a little keep away instead. Dylan Denemy twists it down the length of the ice, and that's killed off about half of what's left of this Knoxville power play. 18 seconds remain on it. Here comes Sargis. He will give it to his left, and it's dumped in by Dwyer Chance. 2014 7th-round draft pick of the St. Louis Blues. Cornell University graduate, played with Hayden Stewart in college. Down the left side skates Riley Christensen. He's able to sidestep a hit from Cameron. Left side, it's fluttered across the crease by Dwyer Chance as the Mayhem have returned to full strength as Lynch is out of the box. It's a successful penalty kill for the Mayhem. Their special teams remain perfect tonight, but the Ice Bears still threatening. Bombardier in the slot, able to step by Pawlowski, loses the puck, far corner. Arfelt whacks it off the boards, and a jumping keep is made by Sargis. But now The Mayhem are back in control as Cousineau swings it. D'Oliveira clears it. Right side, Cameron coughs it up along the boards to Sargis on the back check. Sargis has just cleared it down the length. This will be an icing called against Knoxville with 15-14 to go in period 2. 3-2, Macon your score. Mayhem will go to an offensive zone face-off, having returned to full strength. Zach Urban is still in the penalty box for Macon. Cooper Jones is in the box for Knoxville due to the offsetting penalties, which happened probably 2 or 3 seconds apart from one another. Knoxville with a clean win in the defensive zone on the face-off, and they've gotten it out to neutral ice. Dwyer chance in a battle for it with Nielson, who attempted to center a pass. It went off the back of the cage. Overskated by Wolter in his own zone. Arfelt with his stick in there trying to win possession back. He succeeds. And here come the Mayhem on a 2-on-3, which develops. They're onside. Here's a wrist shot. Shoulder save. Rebound. Searching for it there was Pawlowski, but it just missed his stick. And now Keplinger salvages it along the blue line. Here's a shot from above the left circle block. Keplinger fires. It wobbles wide of the net. In and off the sign station dasher boards, in below the goal line. It's scooped up. Michael Chimello's got it. He slips it back to the point. D'Oliveira gives it over to Smith, whose shot redirected off the left side of the net and played by Keplinger. Backhand shot stopped by Joseph Murdaka, and the Ice Bears have alleviated the pressure for the time being. Riley Christensen will leave it at the point. Nobody's there. Counterattack for Macon. 3-on-2. Pirog, right side. He drops it off. Denomy's got it. Tries to return it to Pirog. Flutters over the net. Went off a Knoxville stick, and that attack has fizzled out. The Ice Bears look to quickly commence a counterattack as Scott Cuthero will weave wide. Check that Christensen. He missed the net wide of the left post, and Carlson steps down the boards to keep the pressure on here. Near corner. It's hoisted out past Josh Pietrantonio, but he was able to jump to glove it down to the ice. Sean Lynch in his own end. Well, work went out to neutral territory. Oscar Arfelt is brought down, managed to get a shot on goal from the deep slot while falling. No penalty called. Sean Lynch blocks the clearing attempt, takes it into the far corner near the body armor dashers, but is taken off the puck as he was quickly swarmed by black jerseys. Here come the Ice Bears. Right side, it's Anthony McVeigh. He waits for some help. He tries to put it on. It ricochets wide of the net. And it's played in the far corner and given to Stefan Bricado, who's got it. Outer hash marks, far circle, gives it to Pierre Willette. Back to Bricado, who spins, right circle. He's watched by Pawlowski. He will drop it off, and a shot from Anthony McVeigh was blocked. And here come the Mayhem. Dylan Denomey, far side. Stops, drops it off to the late man Pawlowski. His shot missed the left post. Jason Price able to get it up to Cooper Jones, who has just cleared it. 12:46 to go in period 2. 3-2 Macon. Zemlitska's got it in his own end. Wojtek Zemlitska. To his right to Colton Wolter. The Fairbanks, Alaska native has scored the second goal for Macon this game. He will take it into the right corner and put it in below the goal line. Stepan Timofeyev works it out to the right circle. It's given down from Campbell. Deep slot, Arfelt. Slap pass to Campbell on his right. Skate to stick to reception, rolls it in behind the net. Good body positioning by Wolter. He wins possession back, sets up Timofeyev, far wall. Stepan Timofeyev backhands the puck in below the net. Colton Wolter fights for it, gets some help from Cameron, who jeers it loose into the corner on the far side. Dwyer Chance, the Cornell product, is able to get some help and clear the puck out to neutral territory, and the Ice Bears at the end of a shift will just fire it into the Macon zone. Nielsen's pass is played by Cuthrell into the slot. Carlson missed the net. And now Stepan Timofeyev receives the pass up the right wall from Oscar Arfelt and will negotiate his way across the blue line. He missed wide of the left post by about 4 or 5 feet with his wrist shot. He's also near the end of a shift. Alex Carlson out to the red line will just roll one around the end wall clockwise out to the far half boards. Puck bounces up into the high slot. Josh Keplinger trying to pry one free. Nearly gave himself a 2-on-1, but a good stick was made by Ricky Kramer at center ice. Alex D'Oliveira back behind his own net to Larry Smith in the far corner. It's worked up the far wall. Josh Keplinger's pass eludes the stick of the intended target, Dylan Denomey. 11-12 to go in the second. We still haven't had our first media timeout. There have not been a lot of whistles in this period so far. Keplinger able to jam it down the half wall, turning, trying to clear it. Lionel Marone, and the Swiss-born forward, is able to get it out to neutral ice. Wojtek Zemlitska's got it. Check defenseman, put it in across the blue line. Long saucer pass, finds Denemy. He's open, he shoots, he scores! Dylan Denemy has given the Mayhem their first insurance lead of the game. A snapshot from the right circle. Beat Joseph Murdaka over the shoulder. The Mayhem have a 4-2 lead. 4-2 Mayhem is your score with 10:51 to go in the second. And look who's coming onto the ice now, folks. Cody Porter, former Mayhem goaltender, is getting himself laced up and will be coming on in relief of Joseph Murdaka, who has allowed 4 goals on what appears to be 15 shots. I'm not sure that's completely accurate, but it's been a tough night for him. That's not to say that all these goals have been his fault by any means, but the Mayhem really just humming tonight, folks. It's unfortunate timing for Joseph Murdaka as the goaltender who has been selected to play in this game against a very amped up Macon squad in front of their best crowd of the season by far. And Cody Porter receives a less than warm welcome from the folks here at the Macon Centreplex tonight. I've heard a few welcome back Porters jeered his way in a very sarcastic manner. 10:51 to go in period 2, 4-2 Macon, their first insurance lead of the game. Just given to them moments ago by a snapshot from Dylan Denemy, his second goal in as many nights. The puck is whacked down the boards by Anthony McVeigh along the end wall. Out to the right corner, the near corner rather, on the left side. Bricado put it back behind the net, and the Mayhem have control. It's raced through center ice now by David Pawlowski. A bit of an overskate, but he left it for Cameron. Sets up Denemy right side above the circle. Denemy's shot gets blocked. Cameron scoops it up. He turns, he gives it back to Urban, who will recover it at the left point and keep it in the zone. Urban put it down the half wall on the adjacent side to Denemy. It went past him. It's been cleared back out to the red line. Urban flops it back in. We're approaching the halfway point of period number 2. 10:07 to go, and we're finally going to get our first media timeout, which is incredible that it's been nearly half the period and we're getting our first media timeout. If it had been 7 seconds later or 8 seconds later, we would only have 2 media timeouts the entire period. It's supposed to be every 5 minutes, but if it's after a goal, the rule is to not have a media timeout right after a goal. For momentum reasons, but just because of how few whistles there have been in this period, this is our first media timeout with as we're only 7 seconds away from being halfway through this hockey game. This period has cruised right along. The folks here at the Macon Centreplex really enjoying themselves on Pack the Plex night. The Mayhem are going to an offensive zone face-off to the right side of Cody Porter, who will certainly be playing with a chip on his shoulder now. And he's got some damage control to help his team out with. They trail by a pair of goals as we approach the midway point of this game. We have just hit it. We're halfway through regulation time. Here comes Cathrell, right circle. His shot was a change-up as it went off of a Macon skate and pinballed on net. Hayden Stewart able to make the save. Stewart and Porter, former teammates while with the Knoxville Ice Bears. For a good chunk of time this season, they were carrying more than just 2 goaltenders. I think technically we should be going to another media timeout because we've crossed the 10-minute mark now, and I believe that is what they're doing. So even though it was only 11 seconds that had elapsed, we're heading to our next media timeout already. So this is only media timeout number 2 of the period, but it's serving as the 3rd one because there wasn't one for the first 5 minutes. So after this one, we'll have one more after the 5-minute mark, or the 15-minute mark, I guess you could say, of the second period. So we're going to take a brief pause We hope you're enjoying the broadcast tonight, folks, on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. I just heard the announcement that was made by Charles Olson, our public address announcer. 5,619 was the crowd announced at the Centreplex tonight. So just simply incredible. We're so thankful to have these 5,619 fans in attendance tonight, and we're hoping that we can continue the momentum that this night generates going forward for the rest of the season. And the ownership group, folks, for the Mayhem, Bob and Diane Kersner, are extremely confident in this market, in the city of Macon and the surrounding community in the Middle Georgia area. This was the plan from the beginning to make this a long-term home from day one. Long point shot from the right side is blocked by the Mayhem sticks in the slot, and it's picked up by Cousineau, who will feed Colton Wolter on his right. Wolter looks to the front of the net, can't find a way to get the puck there, so he just rolls it into the adjacent corner where Cousineau battles for it and takes a spill. And Jason Brice gives him a little extra shove after the fact. Now here comes Ricky Kramer leading the rush as the defenseman, and he will drop it back to the late man. Here's a snapshot from Cothrell that's off the mark. Jason Brice holds the line, left point, puts it down in behind the net. It's Brice Nielson who will float one to the right side. Nielson puts it on goal from a very tough angle. That was pillowed away by Hayden Stewart. Here comes Colton Wolter down the left wing. He will gain the Knoxville zone skillfully, puts it onto his backhand, missed the net just wide. And now it slides its way back out to neutral ice, and it's played by Ben Campbell. He will give it across to Larry Smith. Smith up the middle for Colton Wolter. Wolter had his pass blocked, but it's recovered by Timofeyev, who jams it into the Knoxville zone before hopping onto the bench to complete a change. Jason Brice behind his own net with it. Steps out in front of the net. Brice up the middle with his pass, and it's backhanded along by Josh Pietrantonio, turned over. Keplinger the other way. Gives it off to Cameron. Back to the tail gunner. Slap shot on the one-timer, kicked away by Porter on the drive coming from Pirog. Pietrantonio hammers it wide of the net from center ice and goes to the Knoxville bench. Ben Campbell rolls it in behind the Macon cage, and Larry Smith is there. We'll give a pass up to Pirog. Pirog gets a quick return from Dylan Denemy, who joins him on the rush. Pirog to his left. Cameron, the return. Pirog just missed. And he couldn't get his stick on that pass from Cameron on the give and go. Now it's Keplinger right side. Tries to make something happen with his teammates in the midst of a change here. It's Cooper Jones from his own zone. Backhands it out past the Mayhem logo at center. Larry Smith has it. Goes up the middle of the ice. Dylan Denemy in front of the benches. Jams it away for Oscar Arfelt. He floats it into the Knoxville zone. It bounces near the body armor dasher boards. No icing. 7:43 to go in the second period. 4-2 Macon. The Mayhem in the attacking zone for the time being. Pawlowski back to Arfelt in the slot. Here's a shot. Blocker save by Cody Porter. He gets knocked down. A penalty's going to be called. Goaltender interference, if I'm not mistaken. Porter made the blocker save. And Zane Stout put his arm up immediately, but he's not signaling to the penalty box. They may just be saying there will be a neutral zone face-off, and that'll be the case. So interesting call by Zane Stout. Play will continue with 5 skaters aside. 7:32 to go in the second period. 4-2 Macon is your score. 5 of the 6 goals that have been scored tonight took place in the first period. The only one to take place in the second came off the stick of Dylan Denemy. 9:09 into the contest with Ben Campbell getting the assist. Neutral zone draw won by Pawlowski. Played D-to-D from D'Oliveira to Arfelt. Up the middle comes Pawlowski. His shot is stopped by Porter. Back up to the line. Arfelt was able to hold it skillfully. Pawlowski right circle, hammered his shot wide of the adjacent post. And Ricky Kramer put it along his own end wall. Pierre Ouellette is able to work it up into the neutral zone. It's floated into the left corner, and Stefan Bricado causes the stick of D'Oliveira to come loose. D'Oliveira goes over to pick it up. In the meantime, the Ice Bears cycle the wagons down low. It's dropped off from Bricado to Anthony McVeigh. Both of them have somebody from Macon's side trying to take it off their sticks. One of them does. Pawlowski from his own goal line works it up the left side, and it's floated up in the air. Arfelt takes a spill, jams the puck loose for Sean Lynch across the blue line. Saucer pass to Denemy, bounces over his stick. He sends it off the far corner boards. It Kareem's up the wall. Good pinch by Zemlitska. Keeps the attack going, but the pass back to the line was ineffective as everybody else was changing on the Mayhem side. Zach Urban from in behind his own net. Long diagonal pass, never reached Cousineau. It was Cuthrell intercepting it for Knoxville as he enters the Macon zone onside. He will leave it down the left boards for Riley Christensen. He's knocked off the puck. Cuthrell picks it up and centers it. Good pass, but Nielson was well covered and knocked down, and the Mayhem could get an odd man rush. Left side, it's brought down by Chimello. He will put it over to Urban just outside of his reach, and Urban will put it in behind the net for Chimello, who's well covered. He's surrounded by black jerseys, and he goes down. Christensen able to dodge a bullet in the form of Caleb Cameron. Caleb Boardbreaker Cameron, I believe, is his new nickname. He gets it in front of the Knoxville bench. Chimello takes a swipe at it. The Mayhem on a delayed offside have got to wait a second. Now they're good to go. They enter the attacking zone. Good pass by Cameron over to Pirog, fresh off a change. He will carry it below the Knoxville goal line. It rattles its way to the near side. Pirog throws a big hit on Jason Brice. Good keep, right point, slap shot on goal, stopped by Porter with the glove. 5:08 to go in period two. 4-2 Macon. A scrap takes place after the stop by Porter. Lots of passers-by on that point shot that was taken from Ben Campbell from the right point. He was able to get it through everybody, and somehow Porter was able to see it and snag it with his glove. Jason Price, Cooper Jones down there trying to calm things down, it seems like. Price, somebody who's been in this league a long time, a 12-year SPHL veteran, 34 years of age, renowned for his leadership qualities. He won a cup in Knoxville back in 2015 with Josh Cousineau. The Mayhem will take an offensive zone face-off to the right of Cody Porter. The puck will float over the Knoxville blue line, and Larry Smith put it back over the line. Alex Carlson from the far corner of the Knoxville zone has possession now. Able to rattle one off the glass, and it pinballs through. Takeaway at center ice. Here comes Jones coming and shooting. That was Bombardier. He missed the net. And Stephen Pirog along the near half wall trying to get some help from Smith to clear it. Left off by Sean Lynch. Timofeyev. Good pass up to Lynch. Lynch's pass eventually finds Campbell. The two of them not really on the same page there. Kramer. Carlson. Got his pass blocked. It's recovered by Pawlowski. Now fed to Arfelt across the blue line. Wrist shot. Missed the left post. Now it's Lynch from the far point. We get a whistle. Zane Stout calling the play dead. There might have been an illegal line change, and I believe Zane Stout is getting somebody for a too many men on the ice penalty. Or perhaps there was something near the benches that took place away from the play, because there's somebody from both sides going to the penalty boxes. Timofeyev into the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box, and for Knoxville, it's Lucas Bombardier to the All-State Bonding penalty box. 4:08 to go in the second. 4-2 Macon is your score. And it's time for a free t-shirt. You know what that means here at the Macon Centreplex. Stefan Mercado having a conversation with Zane Stout. He believes the penalty should have been one-sided, as I suppose he's arguing it was instigated by Timofeyev. I thought it was going to be a too many men on the ice penalty. The whistle blew when Knoxville had it in their own zone. Zane Stout was pointing to what looked to be the Macon bench to send somebody off the ice. We still haven't gotten confirmation what this penalty actually is. Now there's a second Mayhem player skating to the box. It's going to be Mike Chimello. Timofeyev showing 2 minutes on the clock right now. Knoxville will be going to a power play. 4:08 to go here in the second period. Macon hanging on to a 2-goal lead. It's 4-2 in favor of the Mayhem. So Bombardier was also given 2 minutes. And now some time has to be added for Chamello because there are 2 players in the Macon box, but only 1 in Knoxville's. And Zane Stout is going to skate over to the timekeepers and let them know what's wrong. Right now it's just, we see 2 minutes to Timofeyev, 2 minutes to Bombardier. But there have got to be 2 minutes given to somebody else on Macon's side. So what they did was just take away the Bombardier penalty. So I'm not sure exactly what this penalty is. We're just going to have to wait and see. We got no signal from the referee. Offensive zone face-off win by the Ice Bears. Anthony McVeigh on the far side. He will work it up to the blue line. Jason Price, long wrist shot, didn't get through the traffic. It was blocked by Stephen Pirog, who races after it. Pirog will leave it to Denemy, who pumps it back towards the goal line. Pirog wasn't there, Price was, and here come the Ice Bears the other way. McVeigh in across the blue line. Cuthrell's got it. He centers it. Bricado works his way in, puts it off the back of the skates of Stewart. Somehow it stays out. Worked back up into the slot. Cuthrell redelivers it to his left. Cuthrell will switch places with Brice Nielson. He will give it over to McVeigh in the far circle. Rather, Bricado. He will get the return from Price. Bricado, right circle, had his shot denied. And Stewart will just allow his team to clear the puck down. 3:06 to go in period 2. 4-2 Macon with 57 seconds remaining on Knoxville's power play. This Mayhem penalty kill is brought to you by J&J's Heating and Air. Josh Pietrantonio will leave it back to Garrett Sargis. Sargis to Pietrantonio, who puts it in below the goal line. Oscar Arfelt backhands it along the half wall. Cousineau turns it over right in front of his own net. And backpedaling now is Dwyer Chance, who will give it off to his right. The pass finds Kramer in the slot. Kramer slips it down to the left circle for Riley Christensen, who takes it around Arfelt and centers it. Nothing really came of that. Cameron has just cleared it all the way down. Time winding down on this Knoxville power play, which has had its looks but has not converted yet. Kramer makes the breakout pass. The Mayhem defenseman forced to stay out there in this period of the long change. Dwyer Chance dangles by Oscar Arfelt but loses the puck. The Mayhem not getting a fortunate bounce from the boards there. It ricocheted off a stanchion, as a result stays in play. It could cost the Mayhem. They're back to full strength. Riley Christensen carries it in behind the net and around, centered. The shot goes wide of the goal, wide of the blocker side post. And Stefan Bricado leaves it off for a one-timer by Christensen that sails over the crossbar. Dwyer Chance fighting for it against Oscar Arfelt. Chance's backhand pass didn't work out for him, and the Mayhem are out to center ice. It's been drilled back in by Bricado along the end wall out to the far half boards. Here's Anthony McVeigh turning the corner and centering. It's played aside by Sean Lynch out to the near half wall. Now here comes Pawlowski for Macon. He's joined by Chamello. Pawlowski from center fired it over the crossbar. Minute 20 to go here in period 2. The penalty was against Stepan Timofeyev and Lucas Bombardier for roughing, but Timofeyev got an extra 2 minutes. I suppose he instigated or did something extra at the end. Chamello didn't do anything. He was just serving the extra 2 minutes for Timofeyev because somebody else had to. No icing here. In behind his own net with it is Cody Porter. He will leave it for Pierre Ouellet. He's brought down. And Timofeyev wreaking havoc down there in behind the net. Rather, Caleb Cameron was. Wolter fighting for it. Wolter jars it loose. Keplinger works it up to the point. Arfelt's drive, punched away. And Dylan Denemy gets caught. Here comes McVeigh down the right side. Anthony McVeigh is knocked off the puck by Dylan Denemy. Jason Price pinches way down there. He throws it through the slot all the way back down into the Knoxville zone. 28 seconds to go. Ricky Kramer will collect it in behind his own goal line. Kramer's got it. Josh Cousineau pressures. Kramer pops it out to the side of his goal. And here comes Ricky Kramer for Knoxville. Brice Nielson. It's been cleared out into the neutral zone near the Knoxville blue line. Jason Price has sent it all the way down. This might be icing. They wave it off, and that's done it. Period 2 in the books. The Mayhem adding an insurance marker. They lead 4-2 heading into the second intermission of tonight's contest. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, folks, on Pack the Plex night. We hope you've enjoyed the broadcast up till this point. 4-2 Macon is your score, with 2/3 of this game having expired. The Mayhem getting a contribution from Dylan Denemy on the score sheet in period 2. Their perfect night on the special teams continues. 1 for 1 on the power play, courtesy of a Zach Urban bomb. A 55-footer from the blue line on a one-timer. He was fed by Steven Pirog from the far circle, a crisp pass, and Urban just put all of his power behind it. It just blew right by Joseph Murdaka, which was the penultimate dagger in his night. The last one would be Denemy's goal, 9:09 into period 2, which resulted in the goaltending change. Cody Porter, who came in relief of Joseph Murdaka, has played very well so far. He's stopped all 3 shots he's faced. A couple of them were very tough saves. Stewart, on the other hand, has done very well as well for Macon, stopping 20 of 22. And the Mayhem right now with a 4-2 lead over the Knoxville Ice Bears, which is good news for them because in games in which they lead after 2, the Mayhem 5-2-1 on home ice, or rather 3-0-1, I beg your pardon, on home ice this season. Overall, they're 4-1-1. So they've been solid when leading after 2 periods this season. Again, folks, thanks so much for joining us this evening. We'll do a quick glance around the league for an out-of-town scoreboard update before we play back our last episode of Line Change to hold things over until period 3 begins. 1-1 the score in Roanoke tonight. That game about halfway through regulation. Huntsville got a win over Fayetteville. 3-2 was the final in overtime. Quad City trailing on home ice to the Peoria Rivermen. 2-0 is the score 12 minutes in, and Evansville leads 2-1 over Jamie Hicks and the Birmingham Bulls halfway through period 1. That wraps up your out-of-town scoreboard update, brought to you by Hampton Inn and Suites. And we're going to take a pause for the cause here on the Mayhem Broadcast Network, folks. We've got about 17 minutes or so before third period action is brought your way. Till then, please enjoy this archived episode of Line Change with Mayhem head coach Ryan Michael. That's coming your way next on SPHL Live and on YouTube. All right, everyone. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. As always, we really appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for coming to episode 11 of Season 2 of Line Change with Coach Ryan Michael. I understand that you've probably got plenty of questions to ask tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and keep my part of the show very brief. I'm just going to ask these gentlemen one question each, and from that point on, the show will belong to you guys. We're going to have a crowd mic that we pass around as always. The only thing that we ask is that you please ask your questions and voice your comments into this crowd mic so that we can get it onto our archived version on YouTube later on. Our guests tonight are forwards Mike Ciamello and Colton Wolter. If you would, please give a round of applause to these two gentlemen. We're really excited to have both of them here. But the first question I want to ask, as always, is to Coach. Coach, you guys went up to Peoria this past weekend. I thought you had some brilliant flashes both Friday and Saturday night. Took the Rivermen to overtime for the first time in a couple of seasons, got a point on Friday night. Had a great start to the game on Saturday, and unfortunately things took a turn for the worse, I think, towards the end of the second period there. If you could just take one thing away from that series, what do you think it would have been?
I thought it was a pretty good weekend, to be honest with you. Friday we had plenty of chances to bury and couldn't find a way to get a couple that maybe we should have, and played pretty well enough defensively. Stewie played great. And then Saturday, I thought it was stellar up until kind of the end of the second. And, I said it in between periods is, maybe the difference of going into that third period with the score being 2-0 versus 2-1. It's one goal difference, but I think it means everything in the world. And why I was frustrated with that goal was, it was, 20 seconds left in the period, so it's a vital time. Like I said, we're up 2-0 on the road in a building that's hard to play in against a top team in the league. And we win the draw clean, and we don't execute, the face-off play, and it turns into a goal with 12 seconds left. And I think that kind of got them going a little bit. And I could have adjusted a little bit quicker to some things in the neutral zone, I think, in the third. But it was a promising weekend in the sense that frustrated the crap out of that team for a good portion of that weekend. So obviously 1 point isn't good enough, and I think we certainly could have had more than that, but I thought it was.
Yeah, without a doubt. And if that's a series where you just looked at the box score and saw the final score, you're really not getting the whole picture. It was an outstanding effort put forth by the Mayhem both nights. Really, you could just feel it, even from watching the game on SPHL Live, the huge momentum shift that came at the end of period 2, as you said, on Saturday. But for those of you tuned in, I'm sure that you're aware of what was announced earlier on Mayhem social media, but the team officially announced its extension with Spectra. We will be staying here for the next 5 seasons. Obviously, everyone in the organization extremely ecstatic with the news today, and we just can't wait to see what the future holds here in Macon. And this was the plan from day one. We always wanted to make this a long-term home, and it's great for all of us to see that it's coming to fruition here. But Mike, I wanted to ask you about that because you're somebody who's pretty vested in this community now at this point. You've been kind of in and out of rotation here with the Mayhem for the past couple of seasons. You met your girlfriend here. You're very involved here in Macon, and you clearly love playing here. So my question to you is, what was your reaction when you found out about the extension today?
I mean, I was just excited for Macon and for the fans that, they get 5 more years of hockey. I know that there's a passionate group of fans here, and I think it's exciting for everybody that there's more hockey in Macon. And obviously for me, I always love coming back here. I have my girlfriend, Kelly, that she tries me to continue to be here in Macon, and I work as hard as I can for it. And I just think that it's awesome to see that there's 5 more years. I know there was some speculation or there was things going around about what was going to happen with Macon. So I'm thrilled for all of the fans. I'm thrilled for the community. It's great to have hockey. Being a Canadian, I know that hockey is a big part of you, so I can imagine what it's like for some of the fans here. I know it's like to have hockey as a big part of me, so I'm just really happy that it's going to be back here in Macon for 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And you hit on the big sigh of relief. I think that's just because of how much speculation there was with the state of the current contract expiring at the end of the season for all parties involved, whether it's staff, players, fans. Just a huge sigh of relief for everybody. So Colton, this next question I have is for you. You made your debut with the team this past weekend in Peoria, got your first taste of playing with the Mayhem. Didn't take you long to assert yourself. On Saturday, you had a goal and a fight. So getting right into the Mayhem style of hockey, which we appreciate. My question to you is, how have you felt like you've gelled with the team through just 2 short games of being here?
I think it's been a good process. Everybody's that I've met through the team is welcoming with open arms, and everybody's a good guy in that locker room, and there's no groups or cliques or anything, so it's an easy fit to come in from Roanoke in just a short amount of time.
Sure. All right, guys, I've got one more question for you, and then I'll let the audience take over, as I'm sure they're chomping at the bits to do so. The question is this. It's Nick Night on Saturday, as all of you are aware. Specialty jerseys have been released. They'll be worn on Saturday and auctioned off after the game is over. What is all of your favorite Nickelodeon shows from growing up?
I guess I'll start us off here.
Sure.
I'm going to go with SpongeBob.
Solid choice. Yep.
SquarePants.
That was one of the biggest ovations we've ever had.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to have to be SpongeBob, too, probably.
SpongeBob,
Honestly.
all right. Coach?
Yeah, mine's definitely SpongeBob.
We've got a clean slate up here. All right, guys. Well, that's all the questions that I have. The next part of the show will now belong to you. Again, the only thing we ask is that if you have a question or a comment, please do so into the microphone here so we can get it all saved on our YouTube channel after the show is over.
All right, tell me about Stathis and Jared.
As to what? Why?
As to why.
Okay. Well, I'll say it this way. Stathis did something I didn't appreciate and approve of this weekend, and as a result, I chose to sit him, bench him, didn't play him, and came to be a mutual decision that he didn't want to be here anymore, and I didn't want him. So, in order to get the deal done, I got done. There was another bystander, and it just happened to be. So,
So I haven't finished watching last weekend's games, but since there hasn't been a line change in between those two, one of the things I noticed from the previous weekend is our power play units went from being what's usually 4 forwards and 1D to 3 forwards and 2D.
Yep.
And wanted to know if that was an intentional choice to try and limit some of the shorthanded opportunities, or was giving guys a different look on the power play. What was kind of your motivation for making that switch?
It was a bit of both. I mean, I felt like Roanoke's got, if you watch their games online, their end zones are a bit bigger. Part of it was kind of mixing it up and giving it a different look, kind of rotating from a bit of an overload to an umbrella and constantly just kind of moving. The issue when we have 1D, we're in a 1-3-1 essentially. And my only issue with that is we just get too static. I have to stand here the whole time and kind of stop thinking. So I tried to simplify it and break some of that habit by changing it up and just giving a little bit more freedom. So that was kind of the decision. I mean, part of it was also, even in Peoria, we had one sequence where I had sent one getting too low into a battle where and then I saw almost the 2-on-1 just develop right in front of me. So tomorrow we're going to work on it a good bit. We need to be better, I think. They have the best special teams in the leagues, but being able to score 1 or 2, Friday or Saturday maybe is the difference for us winning and getting that extra 2 points.
What I was going to say off her last comment is, Colton, welcome. Chemo, Tamela, you're not going anywhere. You stay put. And just a reminder, we're only, 2 or 3 points from being in the playoff, 8th place. Is that accurate? About 2 or 3 points from?
In relative to the deal, or why I made the trade?
No, nothing with the trade. Okay. Just our standings.
Yeah, we're right there.
Yeah, we're right there. So we still got a season to play.
Right.
We're still in this.
Right, and that's, for me in that deal, it was, I want to win now, and I fully intend on making playoffs. So, and at the same time, I think, we need to get younger a little bit, and I saw it as an opportunity to get, a couple pretty good rookies that have established themselves early, and I think can be even better, moving forward. So.
This is the opposite of what happened 2 weeks ago.
So my question is for Colton. You had a really interesting 2018-19 season where you got to play for 3 teams, and one of them was the regular season champion Peoria Rivermen, and then you got to go to Roanoke that got to knock them out of the playoffs after the challenge round. While you were in Roanoke, when that challenge round happened, did that really cause as big a stir in the locker room, feeling disrespected that you got chosen? Or was it more of just an on-ice thing that you felt caused that upset?
We had a feeling going into the selection show that they were going to choose us as their first-round pick. So, we kind of just had a little bit of a edge to us because there's not just myself, but there are other guys that have played for Peoria's organization for some time that ended up in Roanoke. And so it was kind of fuel for the fire and just kind of motivated us to go out there and get the job done.
Better set that fantasy lineup, Sean. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints?
I mean, I have another one, so.
Okay.
So following up on that last part there about being in Peoria and Roanoke, you were also in Huntsville for a portion of that season. And does it ever feel strange, like thinking back kind of what if I had stayed in Huntsville and they continue on, or is it more of a clean break in your mind and you don't want to go there?
You know, obviously, when you end up somewhere, you obviously want to be there as long as you possibly can and just kind of build a tenure there. But unfortunately, this profession, it doesn't always work that way. So when it happens, it's just kind of a clean breakaway. There's no hard feelings on either side, and it's just you have to find a spot to go somewhere else and kind of build up the same resume.
Hey, so a couple years ago, the guys would go to the elementary schools and like read to the kids. How come that they're not doing it this year? Or was that a promo that's just not come up yet? Or is that just something that they're not possibly going to do?
To be honest, I don't really do that. That's not really part of my daily figuring out, so I don't want to throw the guy to my left under the bus or the gentleman way to the right over at the bar under the bus, so I don't know if they want to answer that. But,
Zach, would you care to answer? Chime in?
well, you need the microphone.
Yep. Either that or speak up. She was wondering why we haven't done as many readings to the kids at schools this season.
Is that something about the morning and practice schedule?
We're practicing when they want us there.
Yeah, in the morning.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
No. They were just there. They were just at Georgia College today. Yeah. We do that quite a bit with colleges. We've got a couple of interns from Wesleyan, and they're great. I can't really speak to how much they represent us on campus or what they do, but I know that Tyler, who is the one who found them, has kind of had them, working at booths and passing out flyers and things like that. But I see what you're saying about doing a more hands-on approach at Wesleyan for sure, especially with college night coming up, right?
Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that excerpt from our last episode of Line Change with Mayhem head coach Ryan Michael every Tuesday night at the Rookery from 6 to 6:30 p.m. We hope to have you there as often as you're able to. Enjoy some delicious handcrafted local Macon food. Learn a little bit more about the two-player guests who we always bring on board, as well as Coach Michael and myself. And hang out with us afterwards. The players always hang out after the show is over and mingle with the fans. They get a free meal, which they would not miss for the world over at the Rookery. So by all means, we'd love to have you in the audience, asking questions, participating. If not questions, then just voicing your comments and heaven forbid complaints if you have them. So either way, we'd love to have you at Line Change again every Tuesday night from 6 to 6:30 p.m. at the Rookery at 543 Cherry Street in downtown Macon. 4-2 is the score. Two-thirds of the way through this contest, the Mayhem have accumulated a multi-goal advantage in that second period, courtesy of a snipe from Dylan Denemy from the right circle. He was assisted by left-handers Ben Campbell and Sean Lynch. Denemy from the right circle just roofed it over the shoulder of of Joseph Murdaka, which caused his night to be over. Murdaka was pulled by Jeff Carr, the Knoxville head coach, after that goal was let in. And then Cody Porter came in relief and played very well. He stopped all 4 shots that he faced, and 7:49 was the amount of time in which he was in the game. And he looked very strong. Hayden Stewart, his counterpart tonight and former teammate, the goaltender for the Mayhem, has stopped 21 of the 23 shots that he has faced. The Mayhem also killed off back-to-back Knoxville power plays to wrap up period 2. They've had a perfect night on the special teams thus far. They have converted on their only power play, courtesy of a bullet from Zach Urban through traffic from a deep slot shot really near the blue line on a one-timer. He was set up by Steven Pirog from the far circle to end period 1. And Urban rocketed home his second goal of the season, his 6th point. And that would ultimately be the go-ahead goal. Right now it stands as the game winner if the score holds. 25-23, the shots on goal in favor of Macon, but never count out the abilities of Jeff Carr's squad. This is a good Knoxville team, folks. They're in the top half of the SPHL this season. They're a high-scoring team. It's not the kind of team that you can just really hunker down and just defend for the closing minutes when you've got a lead. They're too fast. The Mayhem have got to continue pressuring them in all 3 zones and continuing to try to add to their lead. The Mayhem had Pensacola in this building 2 nights ago on the day that was postponed. Pensacola and Knoxville really virtual opposites on the ice in terms of the way they play. The Ice Bears a much more fast-paced, high-flying offensive team. The Ice Flyers, very much a defensively sound team with an excellent penalty kill and a very strong work ethic. And it's very hard to build up a big lead on them to begin with, but defending a lead against them is one thing. Defending a lead against a team that scores goals in bunches like this is certainly something else. So the Mayhem cannot take this 2-goal advantage lightly. They've got to continue fighting and fighting hard and feeding off the energy that this fantastic crowd has provided here all night long. By the way, the official attendance has been announced at the Macon Centreplex. I'll have to confirm with my sources after this game is over, but if I'm not mistaken, that's the largest crowd we've ever had here. 5,619, certainly the largest since I've been here. Last season's largest drawing game was Pucks and Paws night on March 2nd. That was 34-19, I believe. So 56-19, that's 2,200 above that. That's a fantastic number. It is certainly a testament to the Mayhem front office for all the hard work that they put into promoting this game for the past several weeks, but even more of a testament to this community for supporting us. So we'd like to thank each and every person who has come here to support the Macon Mayhem tonight on Pack the Plex night. It is not over yet. Still 20 minutes of hockey remain to be played. The Mayhem with a 4-2 lead over the Knoxville Ice Bears heading into period 3. We will be commercial free from here on out, folks. And we'll be staying with you for the rest of this one right till the end. Macon wearing its specialty Nickelodeon jerseys tonight with a Double Dare theme. They will be sold off after this game is over in a live auction in the Centreplex lobby. Knoxville in its alternate black jerseys, which I've never seen live before. I certainly like the look. But it is a little bit difficult at times on those jerseys as well to identify the numbers just because it's black on black. The white outline obviously makes it easier, but every now and then I've found myself hard-pressed to identify players from both sides. So appreciate you bearing with me tonight on this specialty jersey game. 20 minutes remain here in period 3. The Mayhem with a 4-2 lead about to kickstart the closing stanza. David Pawlowski will take the first faceoff of the third frame, countered by Scott Cathrell of Knoxville. Cathrell led the Ice Bears in scoring last season. He's had another good campaign this year, 34 points coming into this tilt. He's now got 36, had a point on both of the Ice Bears' goals. Cathrell is He had 43 points last season in 47 games played, nearly a point per game player. He was a teammate of Ben Campbell's while at Nichols College a few years ago. Pawlowski versus Cothrell to start period 3, and the Centreplex crowd here on Pack the Plaques night giving the Mayhem a roar of encouragement as we get set to be back underway. William Bray, the linesman, drops the puck. Pawlowski wins the draw, and we're back underway for period 3 as Stepan Timofeyev passes it to himself off the near half boards of the Knoxville zone and one hands it below the goal line where it's scooped up by Cothrell and worked up the wall, kept in the zone by Keplinger. Given in below the Knoxville goal line once more. Jason Price twists it D-to-D in his own corner. Now Ricky Kramer from behind his net, unable to clear it. Stepan Timofeyev blocked the attempt and will shovel it into the near corner boards. It'll be played by Keplinger, delivered behind the net. Pawlowski attempts to scoop it in front. It didn't work out, and it's been cleared over a jumping Urban and down into Macon ice. Zemlitska to the bench along with the three forwards. Urban will backpedal behind his own net with 19:17 to go in period 3. Macon leading 4-2. Urban's pressured by McVeigh, gets rid of it, and Larry Smith will pump one ahead. Pirog gives it to Cousineau. Cousineau slides it over to Urban. Urban up to Pirog, who tips it across the Knoxville blue line. No offside. Play continues. Alex Carlson steps out from behind his own goal line and will backhand the puck out towards Ben Campbell. He's got a tough play to make, made it with his glove, drops it in to the far corner. Larry Smith rims one around out to the near side. Denemy drops it down to Pirog, who will leave it for Ben Campbell. Nichols College product spins away from the forecheck from Lucas Bombardier and gets it up the far half wall. Larry Smith chisels one out past Cousineau. And Denemy and the rest of his line will head to the Macon bench to complete a change. A minute and a half into period 3, Macon leading by a pair. Stepping out from behind his own net, Larry Smith with family in attendance all the way from Buffalo, New York. It's been dumped in from in front of the Knoxville bench and halted by Cody Porter behind his net. It's dished off to Bombardier and redirected further out to the red line. Here come the Ice Bears 2-on-1. Chance gives it over, gets the return pass and taps the shot wide of the goal. Good give and go between Chance and Lionel Marone. And Chance nearly brought the Ice Bears back to within 1 very early into period 3. Chance had an insurance goal the last time these teams met back on New Year's Eve. He got the second goal of that game. Brady Florent got the first. Here's Chance now on the right side. Floats a pass across the ice. It was a nice one, but it eluded Scott Cothrell. And now from the near half wall, Alex de Oliveira is able to clear it out to the red line. Here comes Mike Cimello and across the blue line of the Knoxville zone. Puts it to the side of the net. David Pawlowski will spin it back to Cimello. He's got it. Pawlowski skates to the front of the net. In the meantime, it's given back from Timofeyev to Cimello in behind the net now, and it's Knoxville reasserting control. Stefan Bricado pumps it up the near wall. Scott Cothrell loses it to Wojtek Zemlitska. Zemlitska turns it down into the Knoxville zone. Ricky Kramer going back to play it. He will angle it off the boards. Alex Carlson. Hard pass off the near wall all the way down. This will be an icing call against him and the Ice Bears. That icing call has been brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe. We're 3 minutes and a second into period number 3. The Mayhem up 4-2 here on Pack the Plex night. And what I believe to be the largest crowd in the history of the Macon Mayhem organization. Stephen Pirog will go to an offensive zone faceoff. Anthony McVeigh is able to best him. Alex Carlson slides it along his own end wall. Ricky Kramer, who leads the Ice Bears D-Corps in scoring this season, second in the SPHL in assists by a defenseman, actually tied for first in that category coming into tonight's game. A turnover in front of the Macon net, but a good shot block was made by Pirog to steer it wide. Mayhem not out of trouble yet as McVeigh will wheel to the outside and drop it back down the boards. That was Nielson rather. Zach Urban's got it near corner. Trying to advance it up to Denemy, succeeds. And Pirog will motor out to center with it. He chisels it past Carlson, who's been on the ice for a while. Pirog fighting against Sargis in the near corner. And now it's Bombardier. Good long diagonal pass just outside of the reach of the intended target, Riley Christensen. And here come the Mayhem. Sean Lynch overskated the puck. It's turned over at center. Sargis puts it in across the Macon blue line, and Ben Campbell's got it in his own end. 16:05 to go in period 3, 4-2 Mayhem. It's chipped off the near side boards at center ice. Lynch backhands it into the top of the circle. Colton Wolter couldn't receive it, and here come the Ice Bears the other way. Jason Price leading the rush. His pass wasn't on anybody's stick. Colton Wolter able to intercept it on the back check. Here he comes the other way. Wolter's got a goal tonight, looks to add to it, but he couldn't cut into the slot as he had it knocked off his blade. And now from the near side, skate the Ice Bears left to right on your screen on SPHL Live. Lionel Marone will dump it in. Far corner. Alex de Oliveira's got it there for Macon. He will angle it off the near half wall. And the Ice Bears able to pinch to keep the attack going. Ricky Kramer saw to that as he shovels it down the boards, but breaking it up was Macon's Sean Lynch. Kramer resets in the meantime at center. He will put a pass on the stick of Cathrell, tries to dangle his way to the front of the net. And Alex de Oliveira was able to interrupt that. De Oliveira around the boards to the near side. It's flung across the ice by Caleb Cameron. Here comes Mike Gemello. He slips around a check, then does a toe drag and a shot, and it's swallowed up by Cody Porter, and he conceded no rebound. Just 2 seconds inside of the first 5-minute mark of period number 3. 14:58 to go here in the closing stanza. Macon up by a pair. 4-2 your score. We hope you've enjoyed the broadcast up till this point, folks, on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. To those of you tuned in from the Knoxville side, we're happy to have you with us. Quick out-of-town scoreboard update while we've got a second. Huntsville won its game against Fayetteville, so they completed 2/3 of a weekend sweep. They lost on home ice to Birmingham on Thursday night before coming here to Macon yesterday, but returned the favor with a 3-2 win over Fayetteville last night. And then Roanoke is tied with Pensacola. 1-1 the score through 2 periods of play. Peoria remains up 2-0 over the Quad City Storm, and the Evansville Thunderbolts have built upon their lead tonight, hosting the Birmingham Bulls in Southern Indiana. 3-1 is the score of that tilt. That wraps up your out-of-town scoreboard update, brought to you by Hampton Inn & Suites. Speaking of SPHL out-of-town scores, I'd like to give a shout-out to Doug Price, the SPHL commissioner, who's in attendance tonight here on Pack the Plex night, witnessing a great atmosphere. Good night for him to be here. David Pawlowski will take an offensive zone draw against Scott Cathrell. 5 minutes have expired in period 3. The Mayhem leading by a pair of goals, 4-2. Urban with a good one-handed keep at the blue line. Puts it down to Gemello in the near corner. He takes a check from Sargis, continues fighting for it along the goal line. Gemello pushed around by Sargis, and the puck comes loose. Sargis advances it up to Scott Cathrell, and it'll be dished off to the left side. Bricado had his pass outside of the reach of Nielson, who pursues it near corner. Nielsen is checked off the puck by Wojtek Zemlitska. The Mayhem are all over it. Now here comes Gemello down the right wing side. He will just pump one into the right corner and turn to the Macon bench to complete a change. Brice will deliver it to Stefan Bricado, who swivels skillfully over the Macon blue line. He takes it to the far half wall and will deliver it in behind the net to Brice Nielson. Nielsen's got it near corner. His pass is swatted away by Alex de Oliveira, who will work it up the adjacent wall to Josh Keplinger. Keplinger finds a man in Wolter down the right side. Check that, Denemy. Denemy's pass goes through the crease, and it'll be played by Keplinger, given back behind the net. Pirog sets a pick and gets the pass from Denemy. Pirog in the far corner, defended by Carlson. He spins away from him, takes a bit of a shove, stays on his skates, continues fighting against the other number 11, Stefan Bricado. Tries to wedge it up the wall. He's swarmed by dark sweaters, and finally the Ice Bears are back on the puck. Good hard-working shift by the Macon captain. If nothing else, killed some time off the clock. 13:30 remains in period 3. The Mayhem lead by 2. It's 4-2 Macon. 5 first-period goals, 1 in the second. It's wedged around to the far side. Timofeyev chops at it, can't get it past the blue line. Huge hit thrown on Anthony McVeigh by Colton Wolter, who might have gotten an invitation to drop the gloves by Sargis, but they're not going to go just yet, at least. We'll keep you tuned on that as it develops. Christensen's shot gets blocked, and it's twisted into the corner by Anthony McVeigh into the near side. The Mayhem scrambling to clear, can't do it. Bombardier lost it, and the Mayhem have gotten it out now with 12:53 to go in the third period. Garrett Sargis in his own zone. He will slide it over. Ricky Kramer advances it up the left side. It's jammed into Macon ice by Lionel Marone. Oscar Arfelt escapes with the puck. There's a toe drag in his own zone, but can't clear it. Chance with a long shot. Blocker saves Stewart. Chance keeps it in the zone. Will carry it down the far half wall. Steps to the front of the net with that big 6'6" frame, but he couldn't find a way to get it past Stewart. Now he's set up in the circle on the far side. Is knocked down. Loose puck sliding up to the blue line. The Mayhem will gain control. Lynch will just send one into a vacated area and will go to the Macon bench for a change with the rest of his unit. Hayden Stewart leaves it behind his own net for Wojtek Zemlicka to take a look, who will allow Pawlowski to scoop it up for Macon. A Rochester, New York native, Pawlowski begins to accelerate up to neutral territory, lost the puck and lost his footing. Cameron has recovered the former of the two, and will give it to Wojtek Zemlicka. He will go up the boards on the near side. It's dumped into Knoxville territory. Cameron had to stop before he ran into Porter, his former teammate. And Cathrell will jam one along to the far half wall. It'll be played by Knoxville's Stefan Bricado and given in front of his own net for Alex Carlson. Carlson from the red line will rattle one around the boards in the Macon zone counterclockwise to the far half wall. And it's played by Stefan Bricado, and the Mayhem have floated it up into neutral territory. Stick lifting away is Josh Keplinger to try to get it from Sargis. And Stephen Pirog's got to hustle after that loose puck in his own zone. 11:13 to go in the third period. The Mayhem leading by a 4-2 score here at the Macon Centreplex. Pirog dumps it into the right corner and goes after it himself. Whistles again have been few and far between in this game, particularly in periods 2 and 3 thus far. As the play is, the puck rather is recovered in neutral territory by Ben Campbell and given along for Keplinger. He will rattle it into Knoxville ice, and it's Garrett Sargis with it there. He scored Knoxville's most recent goal on a tap-in, sort of whiffed on that pass, and it's taken away by Colton Wolter for Macon. He dumps it into the left corner, pursues it, gets some help along the boards on the near side by Timofeyev, but Bombardier is in complete control now. The Knoxville captain will motor out to the red line and float one into the adjacent corner. It's knocked aside by the stick of Hayden Stewart. Left off for Ben Campbell, and the Duluth, Minnesota native under some pressure in behind his own net from Bombardier. The puck's dropped off from Nielson and centered all the way through right circle. Kramer's shot from a tough angle is blocked by Sean Lynch, and Lynch continues fighting for it. It goes behind the net. Larry Smith is there, has pickpocketed. Pietrantonio sends it to the side of the goal. It's one-timed at the net. Stewart is down to the butterfly save, picks his stick back up, right point. Kramer whiffs on it, but recovered and floated it into the left corner on the opposite side. Smith plays the body. Loose puck collected by the Ice Bears. Slap shot from the line, just missed the post. And the Mayhem have just cleared it all the way down. That was a booming shot from Jason Price that just missed. He recovers in his own zone now. The Mayhem scramble to change personnel. 9:45 to go. We're going to head to our second media timeout at the next stoppage in play. And Dwyer Chance displaying impressive hands for somebody so massive. Standing at 6'5". Pawlowski's pass goes over to Mike Cimello. It's been cleared into Knoxville territory, but they've got possession now as they exit their own zone. Been backhanded across the Macon blue line. Brice Nielson in pursuit of it. Alex de Oliveira's got it. From his backhand, will shovel it up to the right side. Here come the Mayhem. A 3-on-3 develops. Left side motors Cameron, who fires from a tough angle. It's gobbled up by Cody Porter, who makes the save with his chest. 9:06 to go in the third. 4-2 Macon. This crowd hoping to see another fight. The only fight that took place in this game lasted all of about 2 or 3 seconds. Unfortunately, Josh Keplinger just sort of lost his balance immediately after dropping the mitts. He got into a scrap with Cooper Jones, or rather Alex Carlson, 16:33 into the first period. And that fight took place in the far corner near the Monster Energy Dasher boards in the Knoxville zone. And it looked like it had the makings of a great fight, but unfortunately Keplinger just lost his footing pretty quickly. But it certainly rallied up the crowd nonetheless. And it came just probably, it looks like it came 34 seconds after the Urban power play goal, which as it stands is the game winner. So I suppose I jinxed the Mayhem in the best of ways. Maybe I did it on purpose, you'll never know. When I was discussing their recent power play struggles. And they went onto the power play and just hammered home a one-timer. Zach Urban from probably 55 or so feet from the blue line gave the Mayhem their first power play goal in their last 5 games. Dylan Denemy will take an offensive zone faceoff. It'll be to the right of Cody Porter, who's been perfect since coming on in relief of Joseph Murdaka. Denemy against Cuthrell. The puck drops. Cuthrell bests him with the backhanded faceoff win, and Carlson blasted around the boards, takes a fortuitous Macon bounce, and Keplinger put his shot on. It was knocked aside by Cody Porter and out of play. That flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. So the Mayhem will take an offensive zone faceoff again. 8:57 to go in the third period. The Mayhem up by a pair of goals. Stephen Pirog will take this draw to the left of Cody Porter. Again, it's Scott Cuthrell taking the draw defensively. He's had a strong night in the face-off circle. Dylan Denemy's right behind Pirog in the shooting hole, but the puck just missed him. And Urban put it below the goal line, and it's scooped up quickly by the Ice Bears, and here they come. Scott Cuthrell down the right wing. He's joined by Nielson. Cuthrell puts it across the ice, hoping for Bricado. Missed his stick. Denemy tries to chip it off the glass. He gets it out. And now it'll be pursued by Zach Urban in his own zone. He collects it below his own goal line. He is inside of a Macon trapezoid for the time being, with Wojtek Zemlicka on his left. He allows Colton Wolter to collect it on the way through. Wolter out to center ice with it. From his forehand, tried to dump it in. It floated into the Knoxville bench after it had gone off an Ice Bears stick. That flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. 8:19 to go in the third. 4-2 Mayhem. They've had contributions from more than half of their lineup tonight, folks. 10 players on Macon's roster has scored a point tonight. Nobody's got 2. A very balanced attack coming from the Mayhem tonight. For Knoxville, only 3 players have gotten on the score sheet, but 2 of them have 2 points. Timofeyev twisted in front, backhand shot, scores! It's 5-2 Macon. Beautiful pass by Stepan Timofeyev, and it was shoveled from point-blank range over the glove of Cody Porter. And it's Colton Wolter's second goal of the game. The Mayhem now lead 5-2 with 8:08 to go in the third period. Just sort of a broken play. Timofeyev knew that Colton Wolter was crashing the net, and he shoveled it onto his tape. Wolter from his backhand from in tight. Believe me, folks, that is not an easy play to make. It's very difficult to elevate the puck off the ice from in that close to the goaltender, especially from your backhand. And he made it look easy, getting it just inside the right elbow of the net over the glove of Porter to build upon Macon's insurance lead. It's now 5-2 Mayhem. Colton Wolter with a pair of goals tonight. I think has certainly made a name for himself among the fan base here at the Macon Centreplex. There was certainly some griping, you could say, following the trade, which sent Marcus Ortiz to the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs, and it had nothing to do with Wolter at all. It was just Ortiz was a pretty well-liked player here in Macon, and a lot of fans were upset to see him go. But here's a drive by Sargis, excellent coast-to-coast skating, but he couldn't finish off the move. As Stewart read it well and kicked out his right pad to make the save. But when Ortiz was traded to Roanoke in exchange for Colton Wolter, there were a lot of fans who were just upset about Ortiz being traded away. It didn't really matter who the Mayhem were getting in return, but I think now that the fans have seen the type of player that Wolter has been for the Mayhem in a very short period of time, they're happy. Marcus Ortiz, by the way, folks, put 7 shots on goal against Huntsville when Roanoke beat them 2-1 on Thursday. Ortiz led the team in shots with 7, and that was no surprise at all. He certainly loves to pull the trigger. And Stathis Sumalitis, Jarrett Cupp, both getting on the score sheet last night for Fayetteville. Good chip by Denemy, 2-on-1, joined by Chimello. He passes across, Denemy is in, backhand shot, sprawling pad save by Cody Porter. It was Chamella who chipped it to himself off the wall and generated a 2-on-1. We're going to see plenty of those upcoming here in the next 6 minutes and 38 seconds, considering Knoxville's down by 3 goals. They need to start pinching in and taking some chances. As Stewart will give it to the right corner on the far side. The Mayhem unable to clear the zone. And the puck is thrown towards the crease from in behind the net. Didn't work out. Stewart knocked it aside, and Kramer's got it in neutral territory. He circles with it near his own blue line. Floats it up to his left, and it's been airmailed into Macon ice. Zach Urban gloves it down. Urban up to Denemy. Blasted into the zone by Alex Carlson. Zach Urban. He's flushed out from behind his own net by Garrett Sargis. Huge hit thrown to the far half wall. A stanchion comes loose. And not this again. Chance in the neutral zone, taking a couple of shoves. He was given a few whacks in return by Wojtek Zemlitska. That stanchion popped out, folks. And it was Chance who threw the hit. I believe it was Urban. It was either Urban or Zemlitska. It was one of the Mayhem defensemen who were back there who was on the receiving end. And the Centreplex rink crew is going to have some work to do getting that stanchion back into its place. 5:55 to go in the third period. 5-2 is your score. The linesman William Bray has the stanchion in his hand now and is taking a closer look at it, inspecting the damage. Fortunately, it does not appear as though there's going to be anywhere near as much of a fallout as what happened on Thursday night. And this looks like it could be fixed very quickly. For those of you who weren't with us on Thursday, in case you missed the story, the boards came dislodged from the ice. There was probably an inch to an inch and a half wide crevice separating the ice from the boards following an enormous hit thrown by Caleb Cameron against Pensacola along the near half wall, probably 20 or so feet to the left of what you're seeing on SPHL Live. Cameron threw a massive hit, received a new alias because of them. People are calling him Board Breaker now. I've heard several things. There was actually one of our fans, Sean O'Brien, put out a poll on Mayhem social media trying to find his new nickname. It sounds like Board Breaker is the one that stuck, but anyways, it was a great hit, but the boards were not bolted in properly, and when it came out, there was just far too much of a gap between the ice and the boards to allow play to continue, and for player safety purposes, the game had to be postponed to a later date. So we're allowing folks, obviously, who had a ticket to that game to come back to the rescheduled date free of charge. We just don't know when that date will be just yet. As soon as that date becomes finalized, obviously we will publish it on Mayhem social media and do a press release as well that we'll send out via MailChimp. Right now, Zach Smith, the director of game operations here, is inspecting the boards just to make sure everything's all squared away. He's joined by Michael Welch, who also works for Spectra here at the Macon Centreplex, and William Bray has just assured the both of them that the stanchion is firmly snapped in place and we will be able to continue as planned. 5:55 remaining here in period 3. The Mayhem leading by 3. 5-2 is the score, with time winding down in this contest. Take a quick look around the SPHL while we've got a second here, folks. Peoria leads 2-0 over Quad City early in period 2. Evansville still up by a pair over Birmingham early in period 2 as well. 3-1 the score in that tilt. 1-1 between Roanoke and Pensacola. The Ice Flyers trying to bounce back after being defeated by Roanoke with a 1-0 final score last night at the Berglund Center, where the Rail Yard Dogs call home, and the Huntsville Havoc won their game in overtime. 3-2 was the final score. Against the Fayetteville Marksmen. So the faceoff will come right back to the Mayhem logo at center. Fortunately, we will not be delayed any further. On Tuesday night, the delay took about 45 minutes, unfortunately, before we were able to officially cancel the game. So we're just folks patiently waiting, so we do appreciate their patience. We hope to see them again at the rescheduled game. But back to business here at the Macon Centreplex. 5:40 to go. The Ice Bears break out of their own zone. Garrett Sargis out to the red line, blue attire, and it's taken away by Timofeyev, who had Lynch in tow, decided to just dump it on net from center ice and is escorted away from the Knoxville goaltender by Alex Carlson. Alex Carlson, a Mercyhurst graduate, played his Division I college hockey there as in his first professional season. This season for Knoxville, he's played in 32 of their 36 games, has generated 5 points and 49 penalty minutes, which is second highest on the Ice Bears, only to Brian Backnack, who's not here. Sargis rolls it behind his own net and around to the far corner boards in front of the Coca-Cola Dashers. Josh Keplinger is in the F1 position, but he's outnumbered in the Knoxville zone. The Mayhem sort of falling into a 1-2-2 trap in the neutral zone. And it's played off to the side for Nielson, who stepped into the slot, lost the puck. Keplinger on the back check, and will drop it now to Steven Pirog, who cuts out through center, dips the shoulder, gets away from Nielson, and takes it down the half wall on the near side. Steven Pirog centers it to Denemy. The pass not quite in the wheelhouse, and it sort of bounced on him, and now McVeigh will slide it across the width of the ice onto the tape for Garrett Sargis, who will negotiate his way over the Macon blue line before popping it into the adjacent corner. We're inside of the closing 5 minutes of regulation time. Alex DeOliveira getting some help from Pawlowski beneath his own net. They battle away for it. Ben Campbell overskated the puck a little bit. It popped in front, and the Mayhem come out with it. Dylan Denemy down the right side. He's joined by Pawlowski on his left. Denemy saucers a pass, hoping for Pawlowski. It was broken up by a back-checking Ice Bear. It was Cooper Jones who got his stick in the way of that passing lane. Excellent defensive play made by Jones. Now at center, it's Cameron dumping it in. Left corner. Ricky Kramer backhands it up towards the half wall on the near side. Here's a chance for Chimello, who fires. It gets blocked. Chimello stays on it in the slot, kicks it up to his stick. Has it knocked off of it. Lots of Ice Bears surrounding him. A backhand shot is put on, stopped by Cody Porter. Chimello's follow-up backhander goes off the side of the cage, and Ricky Kramer makes the breakout pass for the Ice Bears. From the red line, it's dumped in by Zach Urban. On net, Porter plays it aside. Jason Price has it for Knoxville. 3:39 to go. Cothrell up into the middle for Stefan Bricado. He's pickpocketed, and Timofeyev is after it, but he was beaten to it by Marone. Lionel Marone gives it to Cothrell on his right. Marone's got it near the opposing blue line and accidentally fluttered one into the Macon bench after it had gone off of a Mayhem stick. And we're going to head to our final media timeout of regulation time with 3:18 to go in the closing stanza. Lionel Marone, number 81 for Knoxville. The Swiss forward, native of Lausanne, Switzerland, where he grew up playing hockey. Played his college days at Curry with Jarrett Cupp for a good long while. 3 seasons there, they were teammates. This is his 30th game played for the Knoxville Ice Bears. "13 points, 18 penalty minutes through 30 games played this season." This will be the final media timeout of this game. The Mayhem hoping to just wrap this one up here, unpack the Plex night. But I don't think the fans would mind one last scrap or two for good measure. Knoxville needs to really kick it into high gear in the closing 3:18 here. 5-2 is the score. The Mayhem have had contributions from 12 players all up and down their lineup tonight. That's well over half of the team that's gotten on the score sheet this evening. Ricky Kramer from center ice delivers it to his left for Jason Price to rim it around in behind the net. Hayden Stewart, Rockford, Illinois native, Hayden Stewart, the Macon goaltender. A big Chicago Blackhawks fan growing up. Born and raised in the Blackhawks' top AHL affiliate team's town, the Rockford Ice Hogs. Stepan Timofeyev breaks up a centering pass and from the far corner has just hoisted it out into neutral territory. There's an open net to shoot at. Racing after it is Lynch. He takes it wide and centers. Tap in goal. They score. Colton Wolter completes the hat trick. A selfless play from Sean Lynch to set up a hat trick goal for Colton Wolter. And we've seen the first hat thrown onto the ice. Hopefully we see a few more. Not sure the fans here are even aware that a hat trick was just scored. There's only been one hat thrown onto the ice. Well, I see 2, I see 3, 4. Here they come, folks. If you're going to get a hat trick, tonight's the night to do it. Zach Smith, the game ops coordinator, is out there to help clean them up. I think the word's still spreading around the arena that after one player scores 3 goals, you're supposed to throw your hats. We've probably seen 8 or 9. They're not really in sync, but hey, A for effort. At the very least, they're sacrificing their hats. And Colton Wolter has earned that distinction at the very least tonight. Hat tricks have not happened very recently for the Mayhem very often, folks. In fact, the last time it happened was in Evansville over a year ago on January 19th of 2019. Alexander Tallinn had 3 goals in a 6-3 victory over the Evansville Thunderbolts. That was the last time a Mayhem player scored a hat trick. It's only the 7th time in franchise history. Stepan Timofeyev with his 2nd assist of the period. Sean Lynch getting the apple as well with a primary helper on that tap in into the empty net for Colton Wolter. And you've got to love the selflessness put on by Sean Lynch. He probably could have scored that himself, but he gave the hat trick to Colton Wolter instead. 2 minutes remain in this one, and after that empty net goal scored by Colton Wolter, this game is all but over. The Mayhem needed a night like this, folks. Times have been tough here in Macon this season. The team has struggled. It is will still be in last place tonight, but will at the very least have crept slowly back towards the 8th and final playoff spot. Right now, the next team, the team closest to them in the standings, the Quad City Storm, who were passed by the Rail Yard Dogs last night. If the score holds, the Storm are trailing the Peoria Rivermen by 2 goals tonight. If they do not muster a comeback, the Mayhem will draw to within 3 points of them. So that's to get into 9th place. The Birmingham Bulls, the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs, currently tied for the 7th spot, which also, of course, incorporates the 8th and final playoff seed. So still a lot of work to do, but the Mayhem really needed a night like this. A really just sound effort from start to finish. The outcome really, it felt from the second half of this game on, didn't really feel like it was in doubt. The Mayhem just had that sixth sense tonight. You could just feel that they were going to win this game. Josh Keplinger, who opened the scoring this evening, fired the shot wide of the blue paint and will receive the puck in the corner of the near side and give it to Pawlowski on the far side. His pass is intercepted by Scott Cathrell. This will be Macon's 10th win of the season, so they're finally getting into the double digits category, which is another small victory. They will get up to 25 points in the standings. Knoxville, in the meantime, will drop to 19, 15, and 3. Evansville is 2 points behind them. They are playing tonight. They led 3-1 over the Birmingham Bulls when we last checked up in Evansville, so the Thunderbolts may tie Knoxville tonight for the 5th spot. Dylan Denemy hacks the puck into the near corner. Chamello's in pursuit of it. 42 seconds to go. A few members of this audience have fizzled out with the outcome no longer in jeopardy, but for the most part, this building is still alive and well in support of this team with what has been, without a doubt, our largest crowd of the season and what I believe to be the largest crowd we've ever had. Again, I'll have to verify my sources on that. I'll have to double check with our general manager, Blair Floyd, and pour over some records, but it would not surprise me in the slightest if this was the largest crowd in the history of the franchise. Just an excellent atmosphere from start to finish tonight. And it's still not over yet. There will be a jersey auction after the game in the Macon Centreplex lobby, which after a night like this, ask anybody who's played in the minor leagues, played hockey at the minor league level, folks, jerseys always sell for a lot more after a win. I'll let the audience do the rest. 6-2 the final score here in Macon tonight. A very happy audience in attendance for what we believe to be the largest crowd in Mayhem history, witnessing one heck of a game from start to finish tonight, and the Mayhem players down on the ice giving them a very well-deserved stick tap and nod of appreciation for the energy that they helped contribute to Macon's effort tonight. A 6-2 final score in favor of the Mayhem, which for them has been their largest margin of victory this season. And believe me when I say this, folks, it's no coincidence that it came on a night in which they had their largest backing all season long. Let this serve as an example for the rest of the season, folks. If you're tuned in and you've thought about coming to a Mayhem game, if this night isn't proof of it, I don't know what is. The team needs your help. So if you've thought about swinging by the Macon Centreplex and enjoying a Mayhem game, by all means, please do so. We'd love to have you. The players would especially. You could see it, you could sense it, you could feel it with them tonight. The energy in this building just really transcended all the way down into their play on the ice from start to finish. A complete effort, 60 minutes. They did not slow down. Even after they had accumulated a multi-goal lead, they had continued putting their feet on the gas pedal. And at no point did they really look to be on their heels. They were just in full cruise control for the bulk of this game. The three stars of the game being announced right now by Charles Olson, our PA announcer. Hayden Stewart, certainly underappreciated in a night like this when the Mayhem put up 6 goals, but what a night he had. He stopped all but 2 of Knoxville's shots. They had 28. He stopped 26 of them. And Zach Urban, who did end up getting the game-winning goal with that cannon of a shot from the blue line on the one-timer, came on a Macon power play, which snapped a 5-game power play goal scoreless streak. Is given the second star of the game nomination. And finally, of course, this comes without question, Colton Wolter, who scored the hat trick tonight for the Mayhem. It was their first hat trick in over a year, and has certainly earned his stay among the Mayhem fan base after a night like this. Thanks so much to everyone who tuned in tonight. We really appreciate your support on SPHL Live and on YouTube. We're so glad you decided to join us for what ended up being, if you're a Mayhem fan, an incredible night. If you're a Knoxville fan, folks, don't hang your heads. It was a very well-fought first period in particular. I'll just say this. I don't know that it really would have mattered who the Mayhem played tonight. You could sense it all day, not just from before the puck dropped, the energy around not just the team and the front office staff, but the fans and really everybody, that the Mayhem were going to put their absolute best foot forward tonight, and they did. And for Knoxville, it was just unfortunate timing that they came down here on a night like this. Just a really special atmosphere on hand, the most special that I've seen in 2 seasons of doing this job. We look forward to next Friday night. It'll be our second to last family 4-pack night of the season. We'll have our final one on March 27th of 2020. The family 4-pack includes 4 tickets and $30 gift card at Texas Roadhouse, all for just $50. So we hope you can take advantage of that next Friday, February 7th, when the Mayhem host the Huntsville Havoc and look to redeem themselves against the defending champs. We're going to take one last look around the SPHL and then let you folks tuned in out there get going and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Huntsville was in Huntsville hosting Fayetteville tonight. They won in overtime. 3-2 was the final score. The Mayhem, of course, winning 6-2 tonight over Knoxville, in case you missed the final score announcement there. Roanoke and Pensacola still deadlocked in a 1-1 stalemate. The Mayhem hopeful that Pensacola comes out on top as they're chasing Roanoke in the standings. Quad City hosting the Peoria Rivermen. The Storm tallied a goal, which is bad news for the Mayhem. They're actually cheering for Peoria at the moment, but the Storm have scored. They now trail just by 1. It's 2-1 Peoria late in period 2. And finally, Birmingham cutting away at their deficit as well. More bad news for the Mayhem, another team that they're chasing for that last playoff spot. Evansville, however, does still lead in that game late in period 2. 3-2 is the score in that tilt. Meanwhile, folks, here in Macon, 6-2 was the final score. They had contributions from all over their lineup, but most notably, Colton Wolter got the hat trick, Macon's first in over a year. 3 goals, the last of which was an empty netter. Just an all-out terrific effort from the Mayhem tonight from start to finish. Dylan Denemy, Zach Urban, and Josh Keplinger also found the net this evening. Macon with a perfect night on the special teams, 1 for 1 on the power play, 2 for 2 on the penalty kill. Knoxville's goals coming in the first period, both of them assisted by Scott Cuthrell. 1 from Brice Nielson, 1 from Garrett Sargis. Nielson also had an assist on Sargis' goal as well. 6-2 the final here in Macon. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, folks. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast on SPHL Live and on YouTube. If you're a Mayhem fan, we know you enjoyed the outcome, and we hope to have you on board with us next Friday night when the Mayhem host the Huntsville Havoc and what will be their second to last family 4-pack night of the season on Friday, February 7th. Till then, Alex Von Coydel signing off from the Macon Centreplex, saying so long, everyone, from Central Georgia, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.